And we are live. What's up, Mr. Karisma King? Thank you for coming on.
Great. Thanks for taking me on, man. Honestly, it's awesome.
Let's salute with our waters. Yours looks a little bit lighter than mine, though. Mine looks like it's piss, but it's water. All right, so let's start off by giving a little. We want to give people time to come on. But anyway, so why don't we start off by just give a little background about yourself, how you got into game, what do you do, what's like your main style, just a little 2 cents.
Okay, so I've been doing this now for coming up on 10 years, like obsessively. I've been doing it professionally now for 6 years, I'd say. I've taught thousands of clients. I worked with Real Social Dynamics, Girls Chase, recently Endless Options, and I currently work for myself. I'm a dating coach.
So one thing that I, one way that you first caught my eye is I saw you did a lot of those videos where you did like top 10 pickup artists in the world or something like that, and you have like a whole series of those, right?
Yeah, all right. Here, I'll give you a little bit to work on with this.
Yeah, so, please, come on, dude. Those are fucking.
Yeah.
So me on the intro.
I've always been massively passionate about this. Like, I never got into this for the money. What ended up happening was that like there was something in me for whatever reason that when I started doing this, that I felt like I couldn't do anything else and be happy. And it was a really weird kind of like a draw. Like, I just loved doing this so much. And I remember just being like so into it. Like I felt like this, like being able to become good with girls or become charismatic was almost like a superpower. Like, why wouldn't you want to be a superhero? Like, I was watching guys who would just go up and approach girls and they'd talk to girls and the girls would start liking them and being into them when the girls maybe even didn't like them to begin with. They would do things that was almost like you'd see in movies. And I thought about it to myself, I'm like, that's what I want to be. And I was like, man, if I could become that, I could massively change my life. And it came down to where I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And eventually I started changing and I started noticing that people started reacting to me differently. I wasn't no longer like a weirdo. I was no longer a loser. Girls started talking to me more. And I kept getting like higher and higher quality girls, more attractive girls, cooler girls. And I started getting around cooler people, better friends. And I started believing in myself and started loving me. And it was at that point where I'm like, oh, wow, this shit's like, this is actual magic, like legitimately magic. And I thought that was incredible. And like, I came to a place in my own life where I thought that there was like nothing I could do to change my circumstances. I thought that like the person I was born as or the person that my life was, reflecting to me as was the way I was stuck. And it came down to where like, I don't know, it kind of revitalized my entire life. It made me kind of just believe in things that, no grown adult should ever believe, honestly. So that's kind of where I come from. When it comes to game and stuff.
At what point did you become jaded like the rest of us?
Jaded?
Yeah.
Did you say jaded?
Originally? No, I'm just kidding with you. Because your intro was like so inspirational. So like, yeah, fuck yeah. I was waiting for the part of that, and then after 4 years, I became jaded, and now I just fuck girls with no rubbers.
I fuck girls and don't you guys, and I became gay. Yeah. I decided that it's for me now.
Let's kind of explore. So you said you worked with you just named 3 big companies. So Real Social Dynamics, Girls Chase, which is by far my favorite one out of the list that you just mentioned, and Endless Options. What was working with all 3 of those like? Just give a quick background. Feel free to include as much or as little shit talking as you want.
Well, with RSD, I don't know. It was like one thing to like kind of watch their videos and stuff. And I'll say this. So I was kind of kid that would like, so I got really obsessed with the game. And so what I do is like, I would like find the guys that I really admired. And like, I would legit like download all their videos and like their videos that like will kind of like really speak to me. And I would just like hear it on repeat. So when I was like, I started becoming really popular in Sacramento. Like a lot of guys started hearing about it.
Just a little quick background. How many years ago was this? This was like, what, 5, 10 years ago?
Let's see. I was like 19 at the time. And I started getting a lot of recognition in this when I was like 21, 22. I wasn't really that like good in retrospect, but at the time I thought I was, I thought I was like amazing with girls. But how really like,
how old are you now?
Huh? Oh, it was, Oh, 28. So 7 to 9 years ago, around there.
That was actually a very good time for RST. That's when I think RST was like at their peak in my opinion. That's when I think that was when just Julian was kind of, Max just came on the scene. Max was the new guy. He wasn't cocky yet. He was kind of humble. And then Julian was like in his prime before the Julian gate. I think that's when like they were putting out the best quality content in my opinion. Like there was like, as fun as it is to just shit on RSD now, I think back then they were putting out a lot of quality content, like a lot. It's a real shame that they took down all their old content because a lot of it was good. Like I would still rewatch some of it to this day. I remember Tyler had this video. It's called Beta Shaming. I thought that was a genius video. You know the one where he like showed him and his whatever chode friend. They went out and how like girls would shame the chode friend when he would try to be sexual, right? Because it was so congruent with him. I thought that was like a fucking well done video like that. And Julian had a video about whipping his dick out on dates, like some good fucking shit in old days. So those were like the OG days. So sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. So kind of elaborate on that. So what was your experience like?
I don't know. So I started putting out like blogging and shit like that, and they reached out. Like I reached out to him because I heard Todd was looking for some coaches for the immersion program, and so I reached out to him. I sent him a bunch of my field reports that were getting popular online. They went underneath the name Hitchhiker, and I sent him out. And he goes, "Well, here, come out to Vegas. We'll see how you do coaching wise." Okay. And my very first weekend, I got a guy laid. Like it wasn't even because I was good at coaching yet. I actually at the current time I would have told myself that I sucked. And like, I had a lot of improvements, but I didn't know any better. And it went well and they ended up hiring me. So I started working for them. And it was like, all right, so working with the guys, their work ethic was incredible. It was kind of awe-inspiring. So I ended up helping out with like I worked for him for like a couple years. And then like Julian said they need some help with the 10-game product. And he needed some like clients and stuff like that, or some people to like be on the program. So I'm like, oh, cool, I'll help out. And so I came along. And I thought it was hot shit because I was like, the coaches we had were like the cream of the crop at the time. Like we were the best coaches the immersion program ever had, and it was like it was like we were like all competing to see who was the best, and I was so cocky. Seeing Julian game and like go out and talk to girls, it was so incredible. It actually blew my mind because I thought like I had like a ceiling. I thought I was the best I could possibly get with this shit, and when I saw that and I was around him, I was like, I have so much to fucking improve on, and it's actually to this day I still continue to try to improve my game. It's why I tell everybody, like I'm not the best there is, and I'm gonna be honest because I'm really good at what I do. I'm incredible at what I do, but I'm not the best. Like I just know that like for me, giving me another 5 more years time, like I'm gonna be like somewhere that I would like laugh at myself currently. Like right now, I think I'm hot shit. Like as like I imagine you do too. We're like pretty confident guys. But
I'm confident, but honestly, I have a little bit of a different perspective than you. I honestly don't really give a shit about improving a game that much at all. It's not. I get enough pussy. Like I'm content with the girls I get. Like it's not. If I never improve my success in game ever, I can be fully content and happy with that. Like I'm not actively trying to improve my game. Like right now, I'm mainly focused on business, fitness, health, like all that shit. Right. So I still talk to girls, of course. It's just part of who I am. I still, hook up with girls all the time, booty calls and all that shit. But it's not something like 5 years ago I was actively focused on improving my game. But like I'm not anymore. And I honestly don't give a shit about well, dude, like a lot of guys hit me up to like hang out and shit. Like, like now that my channel's become popular, and like some of them will be like, dude, but my game is so good. And like to me, that's irrelevant. Like all I care is if the guy's like a cool guy or not. That's my deciding factor. Like I don't care, like some of my closest friends, like people who I've known for years, like their game fucking sucks balls. They can't talk to girls for shit. I don't give a shit. Like to me, it's like so irrelevant. Like as long as you're not gonna cock block me, like we're good. So yeah, I think on average you're probably a lot more enthusiastic about a game. I enjoy I do get a kick out of I get a kick out of two things. I get a kick out of like crazy transformation stories. So like when I have clients who are like virgins, like super socially awkward, and I can get them laid, and I see like the smile on their like Indian virgin faces, like when they're like, oh fuck yeah, I never white girl, like I thought I was gonna be stuck with an arranged marriage. Like thank you, sir. So that, and I get a kick out of like discovering new things. So right now I'm like learning Instagram game because it's been so highly in demand. So everyone's asking me to make an Instagram product. So I've been, researching that heavily. In case you guys are watching this and you're wondering, Alex, why have you not put out a video on Instagram game yet? Come on, man. We've been asking you for decades. It's not that I'm lazy. It's just that I don't want to put out content on something that I don't think myself as an expert on. And this is an area I still have to, experiment, play around with more. Like every day I'm sliding into like 50 DMs, right? To constantly just like keep upping my Instagram game. So it's not like it's totally different than, what I'm doing now, but there is some new things I gotta like figure out. So yeah, so that's the quick side note. So I do enjoy discovering new things. I also enjoy like collaborating, doing these kinds of videos, like bringing value to my audience, like all that shit. But in terms of just like, like improving my pickup skills, like that sort of lost its appeal for me like years ago.
Yeah, for me, so I just have a different drive than like, so you have to have a different purpose than me. Like your purpose is just like your lock-in life, like what you value is like, so like you also are addicted to mastery too, but your mastery is like, dating product and stuff like that.
Masturbator, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like you're incredible at what you fucking do. Like, don't get me wrong, like you're fucking a killer. But it's like, we're just like we're in the same business, but we're branching off. We're like kind of like delving our own niches based on our own personal personalities, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to like, if I take a client on a boot camp, I want to like create that same awe-inspiring like effect that Julian did for me. Like, I want people to see me and be like, you know what, legitimately, if this guy can get this good, I can at least find like my true love or whatnot. I want to be so good at like that game that like there's no doubt that anybody could ever, that they can like in upon themselves improve. I don't want that to be like, I don't want my limits to limit somebody else. Like it's I like living on this bleeding edge of game. Like for me, I love game itself. Like I've never been like too much of a business guy, but like I'm just such a passionate gamer. Like being out there and like picking up and talking to girls. It's actually why I started top 10 series. It's not good for my business. It's a stupid decision to do the top 10 series. Because I'm telling people,
I think it's probably pretty good. It definitely caught my attention. I was like, okay, like, because if we think about this from like a game logical or whatever frame perspective, like by evaluating other people, you're the judge, right? So it puts you ahead of everyone else that you're evaluating, right? So the judge is always like, I do the same shit with chicks, right? Like when a chick is like, oh, blah, blah, I'm like, all right, I'll give you my professional opinion, right? So just by giving her my opinion, like, right, I'm ahead. So it's like a funny little tactic, but I think it's actually pretty good. I mean, I disagree with some of the things you said, but I enjoyed the series. I like shit like that. It's always good to like, I don't know. Maybe I'll do something like that at some point in the future as well. My whole thing, though, I feel like I don't want to. I feel like I can't evaluate someone unless I've actually met them in real life, because sometimes the way people come off online isn't accurate to the way they are in real life. In either direction, they might be way better, or they might be way worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It was just for me, like, I don't know. I don't want to put limiting beliefs in my own clients, and so sometimes for me, like, I don't know. I got a little bit overly passionate when I first started in this. I had a huge chip on my shoulder. And I was talking really bad stuff about people I should never have said anything bad about, and I still feel really guilty to this day. Like you're helping like so many people out yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody that I ever even like probably like I put out some bad videos when I first started, and I think about it sometimes. I still feel so guilty about it because those guys, like even though I was talking like those guys from their own perspective, I'm like probably the same guy that they thought that I thought they were, and they're trying to help their people out. Probably like a lot of them are. I mean, there's probably some guys that are out there that are kind of like have nefarious ends. Like I'm not like opposed to like gray zones, but like if you're in this industry, it's like there's other industries where you can make money in that are going to make you way more money if you have the same work ethic. Like there just are. Like you don't get into this shit because you're trying to make money necessarily. I mean, like money's nice, but
here's my take on that. I think it's a spectrum. You got guys who are definitely, their main priority is just helping people, and the money thing, like, kind of sounds like you're in that category. Then you have people like, let's take like Pandora's box or like, those products which are like purely like a scam, like girlfriend activation system. Like those guys are making like what was the numbers, like 50,000 a day or something like that? Crazy money. J-Muff told me the story. He actually met the creator of I think it was girlfriend activation system at a conference, and he was like, hey man, so like how much of the product is like legit? He's like, dude, are you kidding me? It's like all fucking bullshit. Like he like thought John was retarded for even asking the question. So you got like stuff like that. I've gone through some products, and some of them have value, some of them are just pure fucking dog shit. Like just pure like fucking just the guy pulled it out of his ass, not based on any kind of like tangible real life results. So I think it really runs the gamut. I think that the pickup industry is largely dominated by internet marketers, just like most industries, like the fitness industry. Like you got guys who are passionate about fitness, but fitness industry is mostly guys who are on steroids pretending to be natural, trying to sell some kind of supplement that at best is going to do nothing, right? So it's kind of like, I feel like it's the same thing.
Yeah, so when I first started in game, I followed some guys that had no idea what they were doing. And when I started actually studying this and really taking it seriously, I'd go back to those videos and I look at them and I'd be like, oh my fucking God, like this video was such bad advice in retrospect. Like, how did I believe this? And it's really funny too. Like that's the problem with like most industries. Like if you get into like, if you're talking to like a stockbroker or you're talking to a doctor, you can't tell a good doctor from a bad doctor because you're not a doctor. Like you just walked into the office. Like that's kind of like.
Yeah, if you have enough experience, you can. But yeah, if you're new, you can't, right? Like if you see a lot of doctors and you have some understanding of medical knowledge, like me personally, I can just have had a lot of medical issues in my life. Like I can tell right away if a doctor's good. But yes, like 10 years ago, like I could not. So you need, and that's why I think it's good to be like, it's almost like I feel bad for guys who know nothing and they're like watching, YouTube videos, because chances are they're not going to stumble upon mine or your videos because we're not like the highest ranked on YouTube, right? At least not yet.
We're like, we have like small deep audiences. Like the people that follow us love the crap out of us, but at the same time too,
But then like you have like, sometimes I'll have guys like, well, this one coach said, like, dude, you know what? I had someone post in my forums a few days ago, like, hey man, a lot of coaches say that you should never compliment women. What do you think about that? I was like, total fucking horseshit. Like whoever says that is a fucking idiot. You can compliment women as long as you do it in the right way. You're not doing it from a place of like, hey, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Like, hey, that outfit is fucking sexy. Like this, I do it all the fucking time. Chicks love it. It's pure fucking nonsense. Ask any girl. They're gonna be like, yeah.
Most guys will compliment from like, so the bad thing is like if you do it too much, because then that's what other loser guys do and the girl will put you in that box. But in general, it's like if you're complimenting because you mean it, like you're complimenting because like we were talking about this the other day, like compliment on personality over looks. That's another thing guys don't do. Like we actually care about your personality, girl. Like, is your school, you're attractive. That's the reason we're talking to you. But I don't know if I like you yet, just because you're attractive. And that's what most guys don't get. When you get into real abundance and deep abundance, what happens is like it stops mattering if the girl's attractive, because attractive is easy. Tough to find a cool, dope girl. It's tough to find like a hot girl with a personality. Like it's a different beast completely. And if you're complimenting somebody with the outcome of hoping that they give you back a compliment, like what do you think is going to happen? Like it's not like, or complimenting them hoping that you can get in their pants. Like instead of just actually just meaning it, like that's a difference. Like you don't expect like a certain outcome from them when you compliment them. You're just complimenting the compliment. That's the problem.
Yeah, or just show intent. But yeah, I mean, I think generally speaking, as a quick side note, if you're complimenting a girl on something that she has control over, like her style, her her humor, stuff like that, it's going to go a lot higher than if you're complimenting something that she has no control over, like her fucking her tits or her face or her color of her eyes, right? So girls generally prefer compliments over things that they put work into. Style is a good one. That's why an opener I like to use is, hey, I like your style. Because a style is something that you create, right? So every girl really likes that. She's like, oh, you like my style? Like, oh, yes, daddy. Like, shit like that. But yeah, so kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier. I feel like there's like a lot of bad information. It's not just the pickup industry. It's like that in a lot of industries. Medical field, like fucking any industry. The fitness industry. I equate pickup to fitness a lot because I think there's a lot of overlap. But like the fitness industry, especially, a lot of bad info. Okay, so you mentioned your work for RSD, they were inspiring, which I can actually see because I did find Julian's old videos very inspiring. Who did you like working with the most when you were over at RSD?
Madison did a lot of coaching with me. He helped me out a lot with my coaching. Tyler, like I'm still friends with Tyler. Tyler's a sweetheart, man. He's a good person. Like legitimately, so. I know a lot of people don't get what he's doing, and that's fine. But I gotta say, like, I know
fucking weird ass outfits. This is what I do not understand. Why does Tyler dress like he just escaped from the psych ward? Like, homie has money. He can afford to wear like a nice form-fitting shorts and like shit like that. Like, what is up with his outfits? He never used to do that like 6 years ago. He used to dress like a normal person.
I don't know. It's like, how do I put it? Sometimes I'll dress in a way that's like kind of a little more attention getting. So I'll put it this way. So it's like when you get to a certain level in this kind of shit, like what ends up happening is it's like it stops mattering the way you dress. So I don't know if you ever saw the Bradicus video of me, and I always point this out because nobody notices this. Everybody sees the Bradicus video and sees the girls loving the fuck out of us. But when it comes down to it, like if you actually look at the way that me and Bradicus are dressing, like I was fat. I had like a stomach out here. I had sweatpants on. And then like my shirt was stained. I had like white shirt with stains on it and shit, and it was going really well. What it comes down to, sometimes it's like I'll actually dress in a way sometimes that will make the girl shit test me or like kind of like push on me to see if I'm actually this person. I dress in a way so that when the girl talks to me, either I'm a weirdo or I'm a badass, and she'll test me on this shit. And if I pass the shit test, then it's a lot easier for her to like me really fast, especially with like the dime piece girls. Dime piece girls will react differently to like shit like that than like a average girl. Like average and cute girls like will act differently in like in comparison like a dime piece. So like last night I went out with like a cut up t-shirt and whatnot. like all my pants, like I just dress in a way that's either like I'm one or the other. And by this, it kind of help out a little bit, because then it's like, who is this guy? Is this guy like actually the person that can dress like this, or is this the guy that's faking like he's this person? And then it comes down to it, like then like the girl will kind of push on you a little bit. And I like, and not to mention too, it's like if you dress differently, different is unique, unique is value. So like if I'm different, I put myself in a unique box. What ends up happening is that like I'm not like any other guy you've ever met. And if I'm not like any other guy you've ever met, if I'm not like the same as every other John you've ever dated, then in that case, I'm different, I'm valuable, I'm unique, I'm not somebody that you can just like find another version of me like down the road. That's why it's kind of a little bit different. That's kind of what it is for me, because I do the same thing. I dress it up a little bit. I dress a little different.
I think that might be a little bit of a false equivalency, because even though I've never gone out with you, like for night game, I mean, maybe you are dressing like super, weird. But like, every time I've seen your Instagram posts and like, like the way you're dressed right now, you're dressed like, good. Like you're not like super fancy or anything, but like your facial hair is on point, your haircut's on point. You don't look like a homeless person. You don't look like a drug addict. You don't look like a crazy person, right? Like in fact, your facial hair is more on point than mine right now. Like really, I could use a little bit of a trim up. So like, like from everything I've seen, like, yes, I'm not saying you should have unique style, which I can kind of like, go through your post. Yeah, I can see you kind of like, you have like a little bit of a trendy style, which is okay, but you're not like dressing like a fucking crazy person. You know what I mean? Like at least I haven't seen it.
The answer to this is really complicated. So check this out. So this is what I call box theory. I'm going to bring it back to the theory I was talking about. So this is box theory. So box theory, like, so if I'm out of it, I'm not in the zone and I'm talking to girls, all they know out of me is what do they see face up and like my initial reaction. So if I'm out of it, I'm warming up and I'm not in the zone yet. So I call this the exception to the rule type guy. Now the exception to the rule type guy is the guy that generally things that would fuck up somebody else in the same situation, like being Indian, a minority, that would be like maybe being fat. For you specifically, for whatever reason, you're different. You're not the same person that has to follow the same rules. Now check this out. Now this is like something that probably goes like a little bit against like a lot of norms. Now, what are you thinking?
No, I'm just shaking my head because my neck is a little stiff. I'm listening to you, man. Got
you. Okay, so when it comes down to it, I try to dress in a way that does help me out in this initial reaction, because sometimes I'm not feeling it. Like it takes me like maybe like 5 girls to get my actions and my words aligned. And then once my
that's totally normal. You're like a normal human being, basically. You're saying you're not always 100% in the zone. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I switched it up. So like I shaved off my beard like 2 months ago, and I went completely naked. So this is a really weird thing I'm gonna do just to prove a point, because I want, like, if I'm wrong and this doesn't work out, then my theory's wrong, and it's good to know. So what I'm gonna do is I'm waiting it out till I get my game like another couple more months down the road, because I'm still building up momentum and building up my game. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take my hair like this, go bald, and I'm gonna go game and talk to girls, just to prove a point. Like if I'm wrong, it shouldn't work. If I'm right though, it will work, and I'll still do really good with girls. So we're gonna like test.
I'm down. All right, so we're let's do another live stream right after that. So, so in order to make this experiment fair, you have to write down, before you do this, write down basically more or less an overview of the kind of results you get. On average, how many new girls do you sleep with a week? How many phone numbers do you get? Like, you need to have, like, because it's very easy to like delude yourself when you're trying to prove a point. You know what I mean? Like, what they call it, like observation error. I forget whatever. There's some scientific term for this.
And it's also like, whenever you make an emotional decision, you back it up with logic.
Yeah, so, so write down your exact results and then see exactly what kind of response you get like after. Like, dude, I can tell you firsthand, like, okay, with me. Like, dude, I am not one to talk when it comes to like being fucking trendy or fashionable. Like, I'm a fucking slob. I will fully admit this. Every girl who I've ever dated is like, Alex is good in bed. He's really funny. He's nice, but he's a fucking slob. Like, everyone knows it. Like, there's no denying it. Like, dude, even my dog is like, you're a slob. My dog who drools on his face is like, thinks I'm probably the messy one. So, I picked up girls wearing like sweatpants that have like cum stains on them and like fucking, like little kale shit. But I have noticed that when I dress up better, when I go out, on average, I get better responses. Like there's no doubt.
So when you so the same way that I might be having it, you might be having it too. The human brain's not made to understand reality as it is. Maybe because you think that like matters, it changes the sets because now you start acting differently. Like the same way a guy will think that him being a minority matters so much. So then what happens? It ends up becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. He starts getting nervous. So
that is possible. But there's been times like I can tell you like my booty calls, right? Like they're gonna fuck me either way when they come over, right? But I can tell you that like sometimes I'll go like weeks without really doing my facial hair, and it kind of gets a little sloppy and shit. And they don't say anything, like they're still into me. But then like I know that when I trim it up and they come over like the next day, they're like, Alex, you look so fucking sexy. Like they fucking like jump on me. They're like, holy shit, you're so sexy right now. You're so sexy. Can you please like stay like this forever? Like look at your face. Like they can't get enough of it. So I do think that it's a real fucking thing, like this is my theory. You should always maximize everything that's within your power, right?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Well, like to some extent, like I'm not gonna lie. Like so, even if all right, let's put it both ways. So let's say that like on some level that like all right. Actually, here I want to explain this first. So actually, here I want to go along the line you're talking about. So okay. I wrote down something I wanted to talk about to you about in a second because I think it's like so. Here.
I thought you were just casually blowing like a penis or something like that, like do.
So I tell clients this and I tell people this all the time. Like, it's irrelevant if I'm wrong or right. I'm legit. It's irrelevant. It's like it's not. It doesn't matter if looks matter or they don't. Because like if like let's say it like this. Let's say that my theory is right or your theory is right, but society's gonna still tell you it matters. They're still gonna tell you that like this matters, that matters. So on some level, you're not gonna believe me. Like if I repeat this, like people won't believe me. So what you should do is like do everything in your in your power possible to prove to yourself that you're like a 12 out of 10 type person. So what does that mean? Hitting the gym, eating healthy, taking care of yourself, looking a certain way. Because if you do all these things, like it's gonna help actually boost the confidence, make your game better. Because when you hold eye contact with a girl, like, hey, think you cute, what's your name? And you say it like that, and you're like really fucking feel it. And you're like, I'm at your level, girl, or a little bit above. It's like it improves you because you do all this shit on the side. So whether or not the looks matter or they don't, it's irrelevant. Because honestly, either way, doing the shit that you do and you teach your clients is gonna help them out. So they should do either or.
So let's back up. So what is your, because we need to like, I guess, flesh out your position. So what is your take? Do you think looks matter, or what's your, when guys ask you, do looks matter, what do you say?
It's complicated. The answer is complicated. If you think it matters, it matters. But like on some level, no matter what, because society is pushing it so hard. Because like, all right, us as guys, we're very like, we want to look from our own frame and look at the world and be like, look, this matters. Because from us, like obviously looks matter a lot. So when you approach a girl or like, let's say you send a girl a dick pic. You send a girl a dick pic, you're like, if a girl sent boobs, like I'd be like over at her place, wouldn't I? So if I send her a dick pic, shouldn't she come right over? If I approach a girl, shouldn't she like be like, oh, you want to come home with me immediately? That doesn't happen though. The girls are attracted differently than guys are. That's what I'm kind of like, the answer is complicated. If you think it matters, you're going to act in a way that says you are of status. The way I'm talking right now, I'm changing pace, changing tone. I'm changing the way that I'm volume. I'm talking faster. I'm speeding it up. I'm using pauses.
Yes, I do think that your mindset plays a huge role. But do you think looks objectively matter? So let's do an experiment. Do you think that if we take two guys, one of them is 5'3" and one of them is 6 feet, right? Their game is exactly the same. Which one would get more results? Like say their game is exactly the same. You've coached both of them. They have no difference in confidence. Do you think they will likely do the same, or do you think one will do a lot better than the other?
It depends. So let's say that both are like the exception to the rule type guy. Let's say that they're both like just badass motherfuckers, and both they're like
one is 6 feet. Yeah, one is 5 foot.
That's the case. They'll get decently equal results. But like I'm gonna say, this exception to the rule type guys are so extremely fucking rare. Like there's no competition. There's no competition when you're the best. There's like no guy that games as much as me, or games as much as like, or has pushed himself as much as you have. So like in comparison to other losers, when you talk to a girl, you're like this is actually a big issue I have with girls. Like when I first started gaming, so when I started getting better, more confident, more cool, I would talk to a girl, and the girl would instantaneously reject me sometimes. But the reason she was doing that was because of box theory. Because the guys that talked to her previously that had come up to her, she assumed that I was one of those guys, that I was a loser. Now my job is to stick in the set long enough to convince her that I'm not that fucking weirdo. I'm a cool guy, free of outcome, a lot of fun, and if you hang out with me, talk to me long enough, there's no doubt that I'll benefit your life massively. And like that's the difference. So like when it comes to the exception to the rule type guy, to be honest, the guy's so rare. I have friends, my wings that are good with girls, guys that are the best in Vegas, do not look like the guys you think would look like the guys that are the best in Vegas. Like it's funny too. People backwards rationalize those people are good looking. I've had it time and time again, and I show people that don't like know this shit and like, oh, that's weird. Like it's funny. People will backwards rationalize and say that guy's just the exception. That guy's the exception. For everybody else, it matters. But for that guy, that specific thing that holds other guys back doesn't hold this guy back. And it's because that guy has a different belief system. My friends that actually believe this are so like, all right, they like, I believe I'm like 1 in 10,000 type guy. If a girl talks to me, I'm 1 in 10,000. The chances of talking to another guy like me is rare. And I have friends that like are like, no, there's nobody better than me. There's no guy on this planet better than me, girl. Like, you're dating a fucking king. And like, that's the difference. That's like when you start thinking like that, but it's really hard to get into this headspace, honestly. It takes a lot of effort. And when you take that kind of effort and you put that kind of willpower and energy into it, like it takes a lot of energy. It's hard to keep yourself on that fucking like top 1% type personality. It's a lot of energy, honestly. Like, I go out 5 to 7 times a week, like, to keep this shit up. Like, I'm a natural.
So here's my take. I think that, so this is when guys ask me, okay, who gets laid? How do you determine your ability to get laid? I think ability to get laid is actually very simple. It's a function of 3 things. First, what you said, game. So all the stuff that you're talking about goes into the game category. Inner game and outer game. Inner game is how you carry yourself, how you feel about yourself, your self-perception of yourself. Definitely very important. But also, it's only one of the 3 factors. The second part is external game. Like, you can be super confident, but if you don't know how to lead, how to close, how to deal with objections, then also you're not going to get laid that much. Second thing, your sexual market value. And I think that sexual market value is going to matter no matter what. Now, sexual market value isn't just looks. It includes things like status. So that's why you have like the short fucking Armenian guy at the who owns the club banging models, right? He's like 5'2" and he's like a fucking bro, but he's like, he owns the club, so he has a lot of stats. So because of that, in that environment, his sexual market value might be higher than the really jack guy, right? Status is important. Also includes things like fame. That's why Danny DeVito will probably get more pussy than me. He's not better looking than me. Well, I mean, we're kind of tied. No, but like, he has a lot more status because he's a famous actor, funny, whatever. Actually, it would be kind of interesting, me versus Danny DeVito, because he's so ugly that I think that might like kind of balance out the fact that he's so famous. But anyway, that's a quick aside. Third is your volume, right? So you can have really good game and really good, sexual market value. But if you talk to one girl a month, that's going to be the cap of the results you can get. So here's the way I've seen it play out time and time again. The guys who have a high sexual market value, right? When they go out, but they don't have game, they go out and girls initially are giving them a lot of IOIs. Girls are initially checking them out, and when they open, usually right off the opener, they get good responses, right? Unless they open really cringingly, because girls initially want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Then when they open their mouth, and this is like our mutual friend, I'm not going to name him, but you know who I'm talking about, the one that we talked about last time, right? When they open their mouth, girls lose attraction, right? Because they have no game, right? Their internals are fucked, their externals are fucked, whatever. So those guys, they will really get laid when girls are so into them that they forget, how bad their game is, right? They're just willing to overlook that, or the girl's so horny. Now, the second type of guy is the guy who has really good game, but his sexual market value is low. Maybe he's like 5'4", whatever. That guy is going to get rejected off the opener a lot. Even if his game is on point, girls are just going to initially dismiss him because the way he looks. Like, that's going to happen time and time again. And I've seen guys who are short, that's not to say short, I keep using it as an example, but shortness is only part of it. Like, super skinny, super fat, whatever, right? They're going to get, they're going to get rejected off the opener a lot. If they can get past the opener and they're able to really get their personality out there, if they're able to basically just kind of get the girl for like 10, 20 minutes, then their conversion rate is going to be high. So they're going to have a high initial rejection. They're going to have a low amount of opportunities, but the opportunities they get, they're going to be able to close. The guys who are really good looking but have no game, they're going to have a high amount of opportunities, but they're not going to close. They're only going to close a small amount of them. And of course, volume is like a huge part of this. So this is, of course, the more you go out, the more, let's just say, opportunities you have, right? But so this is why what my whole thing is, listen, maximize every single one of these factors. Maximize your sexual market value, because it fucking matters. Like, this is, I don't know, like, this is my opinion, and I think just pure science. And maximize your game, because, again, you don't want to be the guy who every girl wants to fuck, but then as soon as they open the mouth, the girl's like, yeah, I gotta go find my girlfriends. I'm actually a lesbian, so I'm sorry, but you're hot. You have nice abs. If only you had better game. So that's kind of like my take on this whole thing.
Well, all right, so there's a possibility of 2 different realities. Okay, so the reality is the one that you're talking about right now, where like, all right, so can we agree that both girls and guys get attracted differently to each other?
Yes, 100%.
Okay,
well, let's kind of flesh this out though. So girls do care about looks, but they're just less important, right? So girls are much more, on average, because there's all kinds of different girls. On average, girls care a lot more about confidence, status, how you carry yourself, all of that, right? But looks are part of it. So I would say it's not that they get attracted differently. It's what they place value on is differently. Guys place most of the value on looks. Girls place most of the value on other things.
Well, I want to clarify one thing too. So check this out. So, all right. So this is a really complex, like it's a very intricate idea. So like, give me a moment on this, like kind of like suss it out. This is like a really like complex idea. I've thought this through for a long time. So I've been open to the idea that looks matter. I'm not like I have, and I'm also open to the idea that I'm also like self-lying. It's a possibility. I've actually thought it through myself. And like, I know there's two, for me, it is very important that girls.
Do you feel like you could, let me just say this real quick. Do you feel like you could be biased because you're a pretty good looking guy? Like, you know, like you're not like fucking no homo, obviously. Yeah. But you're tall, you know, you have style, like your face isn't fucked up, you know, like you're a decent looking fella. You know what I mean? Like, do you feel like maybe if you were like super short, you might have a different perspective on this?
All right. So check it out. So my best friends, well, see, all right. So I'm gonna say this, and like you don't have this, like you haven't had this experience with me, so I honestly could also be biased again. The best guys I've seen with like girls, like have been like my shorter friends, like all the guys that can keep up with me in this shit, that can like. So me and my friend Daniel, we would like. So this is my old wing. He's dead now. He had an accident, but it's whatever. He's a bad motherfucker. He was 5'5". All right, he's a little dude, and what we do is every day we go out on the strip, click. We'd have little like clickers to see how many people we'd approach. Now I'm gonna go through like two different points with this. So the first one is like we'd approach hundreds of people in a day. Click. And this guy was fucking insane. I've never seen anything like this. He pulled 2 virgins for a threesome after a year of me coaching him. We were kind of doing like an exchange of services and we became friends. And this guy, I've never seen anything like this. My best friends have always been short guys. And I think it is a little bit because like they're coming from such a deficit. Like society is very rough on short guys. So But here's the thing though, if you don't make it a deal, like a big deal that you're short and like you become the exception to the rule. I have friends that are like short guys, and because they act differently, they're not really too like judgmental. Nobody fucking ever brings it up. And these guys are like incredible. Now check this out. So average, like ugly, average, cute, and dimes all react differently to looks. Now here's why. Now, if you're like an ugly girl and an attractive, like physically attractive, what society tells you is physically attractive guy approaches you, this guy's value to you, and this guy's probably out of your league. Now, what happens is because you're like not attractive, what happens oftentimes, unless you're shy or weird, the girl's going to reject you harshly because what happens is she's going to backwards rationalize, oh, this guy's out of my league, so he must be fucking with me. Or he's going to realize that I'm out of his league. So why don't I just save my ego because I can't get a guy like this. So I can go back to my friends and say, hey, look, I rejected that guy that's attractive. Now check this out. Now, average and cute girls are trying to convince. So there's guys probably here in the comment section that can relate to this. All right. So there's been a time in every guy's life where he's trying to convince himself that he's attractive. Like it's like a thing. And like, what do you end up doing when you're going through this period is, you're trying to like, oh, that girl checked me out. And you're trying to like back this up. Oh, that person checked me out. Or if I wanted to, I could have picked up that girl, but I didn't want to because I'm a gentleman. Now, check this out. Now, average cute girls are doing the same thing. They're not dime pieces. So what they do is like, they'll like look at a guy's attractiveness and be like, if I date this guy, I must be attractive. If I fuck this guy, I must be attractive. And they'll go into a club and be like, they'll have the backwards rationalization that, you know what? Honestly, I came here with the logical decision that I was going to have sex tonight because I'm horny. And all these guys are not the exception to the rule. They're all losers. At least this guy's attractive. So this guy ends up getting some at least some value because everybody there is like on the same level. They're all fucking like weird. They're all creepy. All of them are all socially like autistic because us as guys, we lack the ability to read emotions until you actually keep hitting it, building that tacit understanding. Now, what happens is because you're like this and you're like kind of like, so those girls will give that guy the attention. But get this, the dimes, the 10 out of 10 guys, those girls don't date those people. They date the people that can treat them like people. That can like be like authentic. They can be like masculine. That treat them like a girl, and like they can call daddy. And there's not a lot of guys a lot of guys that can do that. They can be like see a dime piece and be like, I'm a 12 out of 10 baby. And you're lucky to date me. Like that's a hard thing to like actually have like the fucking oomph behind it. And once you reach that level, the dime pieces are a little bit different. Like the dime pieces will treat you differently because they know they're attractive. They don't need to prove shit. So the dime pieces will actually act differently to like a guy that's the exception to the rule type guy than an average, cute, or ugly girl. Like
assuming the dime pieces have healthy self-esteem. You gotta keep in mind a lot of dimes have low self-esteem. They actually think they're fat. They think they're ugly. I crush with those girls too. That's the difference though. That's a narcissistic kind of tendency. The kind of girls that are like, so the narcissistic tendency type girls, they chase me too, but they chase me because of this one reason. It's because
feel the need to supplicate or qualify. And when you're a vacuum of qualification, those girls get kind of uneasy because around other guys, every other guy is trying to tell them how much money they're making, how many girls they've been fucking, like they're constantly trying to mold the image of the way this girl's viewing them. And because they're trying to do this, the girls sense this because girls are like, so as much as I approach, those girls are getting approached. So, and not to mention they have a natural inclination to understand feelings over guys. Like we're more logical beings. We're more like logical things like, how does this work kind of a way. Like girls are more logical and emotional. They read social cues better. Like if you actually look at the Myers-Briggs thing, like if you look at the men to women, the only difference between the men and women in Myers-Briggs testing, which again, Myers-Briggs is kind of like not everybody agrees with it. But if you actually look at it, the difference in the men and the women is the feeling and the thinking. The women lean towards thinking on average, and men lean towards thinking. Now, as they're getting approached, as much as I approach, I put myself out there, they're getting approached and getting hit on. So they see it time and time again. Now, here comes Mr. Exception to the rule. This guy's not like the other weirdos. This guy's fitting in his own box. He's unique. He's different. He can talk to me like a person. He can call me and he call me on my bullshit. He doesn't need me. Like legit, like I have I'm dating like a dozen like fucking gorgeous girls. And like legit, one of them's gonna see this fucking video, but I'll say it anyways. I was too busy to hang out with like this top of the line like OnlyFans girl, and like I don't know, she got kind of like she got in her head a little bit, and she told me that she couldn't do this because she felt like I was rejecting her. But it's like I'm just like that guy that just has so many options with girls. I don't have the time. I don't like. I'm just not. It's not worth it.
You can make it up to her by doing an OnlyFans video with her.
We actually talked about it for a quick second, but I was like.
I did that. I did that a few months ago. This one chick, I'm sure most guys in my channel have already figured out. This one chick who was in one of my YouTube videos, I popped on her OnlyFans. Dude, that video got 10,000 fucking views in a week. I don't know why so many dudes want to see my content.
Hey. She giving you like a little bit?
Dude, I don't give a shit. She's fucking let her keep that money. She needs it. All right, so I think my take on this. I don't want to get stuck on this topic too long, even though it's an interesting topic. But let's go. My take is that chicks' looks are actually not nearly like hot girls, ugly girls. There's some really fucking hot girls who are going to play hard to get. There's some ugly girls who are going to play hard to get. I think that as long as you don't put hot girls on a pedestal, which is what a lot of guys do, as long as you treat them like you would treat an ugly girl or whatever, an average looking girl, then really it's going to be more or less the same shit again. There's going to be, I've had girls who are like 6.5, 7s. I don't go for like, 5s or something, but like 6s, like 6.5s, or maybe I was just like horny that night. And they were fucking giving me so much shit versus the next night I had a 9 over, and the 9 was like super cool and super DTF. And then of course I've had like really hot girls that would also give me shit. So my experience has been that actually like you don't have to like game hot girls differently. The only thing you have to do is not put them on a pedestal through your words or actions. That's just my take on that. But I want to jump to, so because we kind of covered RSD, but I want to jump. What was your experience like working with what was the second company? It was Girls Chase. I like those guys a lot.
Huh?
I like those guys a lot.
Yeah, well, Chase Lamonte is such a sweetheart. I don't know. I'm friends with like a lot of the dudes in that thing. They're all really cool ass guys. Like it's like pretty much it's like they would send me clients every so often for boot camps and whatnot. But for the most part, like I was just a writer for them, and I did videos and I do YouTube videos and stuff like that. It was honestly a dude. It was like one of the first like gigs I got after RSD, and I was so happy because I love writing. I'm a writer, and I was like, cool, like I can get my ideas out there, and like so like here, let me see if I got like a notebook near me. Like I just constantly am writing like random shit. It's kind of like
no, I've seen you've been writing since we started talking. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Dude, Chase Armonte, like some of his breakdowns are so fucking good. Like the way he explains female psychology is like so detailed and so just seems so accurate to me. So I have a lot of respect for those guys. Like, everything I've read by them seems legit. Like it all makes sense to me. Like I don't see any fluff or bullshit on their end. Like they just kind of tell it like it is. So I don't know their content too well, so I don't want to like speak, that. But everything I've seen seemed like legit. So that's like one of the half a dozen companies to actually have respect for in this industry. Last one was Endless Options, right?
Yeah. I just recently started ways a week ago, but
so complete this sentence. Jesse is a
genius.
All right, I was going to use the word faggot, but
dude, their product is amazing. That's actually why I jumped on the project. They sent me
Endless Options.
Dude, it's really fucking good, man. I sucked at dating. I couldn't get.
That product sucks. I reviewed it extensively. Did you ever see the video I did on my channel, Endless Options with PWF? Check it out. You might get a kick out of it. But anyway, so they're like, their bio is like total fucking dog shit. Like I ripped it apart. I have nothing against the guy personally. Like I really don't care. But like this is just bad fucking game. Like just bad advice. Like his whole thing was like, I mean, I can get into it, but anyway, check out the video. I kind of rip it apart.
Check it out. Yeah, I just know what I saw out of them, and I worked with them. They were cool ass dudes. They were good guys.
I'm sure. I have no doubt about that. Jesse seems like a cool guy, and I'd love to like fucking have a beer with him and talk to him about marketing and shit like that. But you know, I have several guys actually, because you know, again, people might think I'm biased because we're kind of competitors. I don't give a shit. Like, there's a lot of competitors I have who I'll just say, yeah, they're good shit. Like, check them out. Like, Swoop the World. Like, those are kind of my competitors, but they're fucking good. So I will say, yeah, check them out. Like, you know, whatever. Like, they have value to offer, right? Even though they're kind of haven't been that active lately, unfortunately, because I really like their writing a lot. But dude, what's it called? I had a lot of guys in my mastermind group who switched, who were initially with them, and then they came over and they're like, dude, I had months where I was getting no pussy. Now I'm getting pussy. They're like, why did I spend $300 on that dog shit when I could have bought the PWF product? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, well, you're here now. That's all that matters. But like countless guys in my mastermind group. Like, this is without me even asking. Like, guys have been telling me, like, you know, because usually, like, just when you guys are like, hey, how did you find out about us? And usually they'll be like, yeah, you know, I was with this company, Endless Options. I'm like, oh, cool. How was it? Well, they seem like a nice guy, but, and then the butt is like fucking 5 paragraphs. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to make you say something that, because, you know, you probably want to, still work with them in the future. So I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I worked with them all summer. Like, so I don't want to talk about, like, you know, something that you're in competition with, though, because like, I'm not trying to, like, you know, like, obviously I'm going to be biased. I was like one of their coaches, and like, to be honest,
for sure.
Even though they let me go because I'm a competitor technically too, but I understand, I get it. Like, you know, like with me, like as a competitor, like, which is actually why I'm probably not gonna put out a dating product like on apps for like a long time, unless it's like completely my own stuff. I noticed that, like, so Jesse was like so liberal with his content and just such a love bug. He was like traveling, like, so he hit me up like a couple years ago. He's just traveling around gaming and stuff. And he started telling everybody all this stuff about all these ideas he had with dating apps. And like a bunch of people start taking it and repackaging it as their own product. And I like kind of just, I don't know. I just like, I felt really bad for like, there's like these, like a lot of guys like that I love, they're my friends, but they're kind of backwards rationalizing that they came up with themselves. And I'm like, yeah. And I found myself doing the same thing, but like, they're repackaging up like Jesse's stuff that like Jesse spent like $250,000 on trying to figure stuff out. And he did it because
I did not believe that for 1 second. You did not spend $250,000 on testing that. If he spent $250,000 testing that and that's what he came up with, then he threw that money down the drain. $250,000?
Wait, did you see the product yet?
I went through parts of it.
Dude, go through all of it. Like, I'm not playing. So I never did dating apps because I sucked at them. I would get like ugly and average girls. And I'm like, dude, I get dimes when I go out and talk to girls. Why don't I just go out and talk to girls? And then Jesse takes me on because he heard about me and he heard that I was a passionate dude and whatnot. So I started helping him out. I actually started helping him tweak the product and whatnot. And I started giving him advice on it. And like the second I started working my way through it, I was like, oh shit. Like it was like, I went from like having like no results with any dating apps to like I do pretty good on the dating apps now, which I do pretty fucking incredible. I'm actually at the point now to where I don't have to go out and game. I just do it now because it's a passion product, because I love being like, right now I'm talking to you. I'm like, I'm pretty charismatic. I'm pretty talkative. It's because I go out every day and talk. Like if I was on a dating app every day, like you know, it's just well,
you still have to meet the girl at some point. You're still gonna have to talk to her. There's no, unfortunately, I haven't discovered a technique that allows you to go from texting to just straight up sex without any talking. Like, you're gonna walk in. I'm not gonna say a word. I'm not even gonna greet you. I'm not gonna make any kind of small talk, and we're just gonna go get naked, and we're gonna have sex. And then afterwards, we're not gonna talk at all, because I do not like to talk, because I'm a fucking pimp. You know, unfortunately, I have.
It's gonna create like a teleporter or some shit, and we're gonna like, it's gonna revolutionize game. We're just gonna teleport our dick to the girl, like through like a portal.
That's gonna be PWF 2.0. I'm working on that right now. Me and PWF Rhaegar are actively researching this. What did I want to say? What's it called? Completely lost my train of thought. Something about endless options. Oh, so okay. What I wanted to ask you was this. Okay, so real talk. How many girls did you sleep with as a direct result of the endless options?
Dude, I lost count. No, like not even like I just don't know. I don't know how many girls I fucked last week, man. Like I'm both gaming, dude. I'm like I was trying, like I'm legit at the point now where I'm like actually trying to stop having so much sex because it's taking away from my business. So like I'm talking to you right now instead of hanging out with a couple girls. Like I legit had to like turn down a couple girls for coming over to my place.
Well, yeah, but that's awful. I also had a possible date for tonight. I'm like, no, Sunday's my live stream. That's normal and healthy. I would question anyone who is at a point where where they've had sex with dozens of girls and they still feel a need to like fucking prioritize women over business opportunities.
It's refinement. Like with the dating apps and stuff like that, you're really killer in that shit, man. And like I don't know, you mastered that area, like the dating app shit. And it's like I was so surprised that you guys figured out ways to improve the dating apps that I didn't see previously. Like you guys figured out this puzzle piece that for me was like I thought it was impossible. Like I actually just like I tried the dating, like the Tinder things. I was swiping, I'm like, nobody's liking me, and I just put the fucking thing down. Like I'm just gonna go back outside and approach girls. Because I was like, I'm not gonna win on the looks front. There's always gonna be some motherfucker like with 6-pack and one, that looks tenfold better than me. So I'm gonna go out into the streets. And then like you guys started figuring this shit out, and I was like, oh shit. And now you guys are getting me laid a little bit too much. And now I'm afraid of getting an STD if I don't slow it down. And like I'm not trying to get no baby. I'm not trying to like my dick is currently raw. I'm like I got scared this morning because my dick was so raw. I was like, oh no.
Thank you for the mental picture.
Yeah, it's just like I like at this point, like I'm so abundant with girls, it's like I don't have the time to like hang out with all you girls. I'm actually trying to limit myself to 3 sexual partners a week now. Then I'm gonna drop it back to 2 and try to like limit it more because I need more time to put into business and my own products and my book and whatnot. So I'm trying to slow it down a lot because it's like girls get in the way of your purpose and your passion, your journey, and like which our journey is women. But like when it starts getting in the way of actually, like the mastery and like that's when it's kind of fucked up.
Gotcha. Right. I mean, yeah, I don't want to beat this horse to death, but I think it'd be cool if you check out the video and then try out, like, dude, if you find that, because in that video you have the endless options bio and you have my bio, right? Try out both of them, and if you find, like, straight up that bio does better for you, like that approach does better, straight up, we'll post it on my YouTube channel, and I will happily admit that I'm wrong, but I'm 99.9% sure.
Well, yeah, here's the thing too. I love like you have a great company, and so does like endless options. I don't want like it's like like getting pissed off over a Toyota over a Honda. Like you guys are both great. Like,
okay. Fair enough. No, my whole thing, dude. Honestly, again, like okay, so like John, for example. I know you guys probably aren't that close, but John is like he released a product, Corona Pickup. Like that's pretty much a direct competitor of mine. But like even though he's competition, like I will always say, you know what, that guy is quite good at a lot of things game related, right? Because I will give credit where credit is due, even if it's not financially advantageous for me. Like again, Swoop the World, Girls Chase, whatever. Like I will happily, refer. I just think that was like that product was a prime example of fucking bullshit marketing, dog shit game, like horribly wrong. And that's not to say that Jesse's a bad person by any stretch. I'm sure he's a great guy. Like I'm sure he's a good guy. I just think that sometimes good people just put out dog shit fucking products. But that's my piece on that. We can just move on.
Just a billion too. Like there were people that I talked shit about when I first started this YouTube shit, man, and I still feel so fucking guilty about that too, man. Like, all right, so if it did come down to where I didn't like a person, I just wouldn't talk about them. Like I would never like. I still feel the repercussions for the stupid shit that I did when I first started my YouTube channel. And I still feel guilty. And like I'm not a sociopath. I like as much as I thought I was when I was younger. As much as I was trying to be like this like fucking manipulative fucking puppet master, like I care about people a lot, and like I still like I'm a little bit too high in the fucking like empathy side, I guess you could say, and like it just hurts me. I don't want to take actions that make me feel like an evil person, I guess you could say, and like for me it's just like a personal value thing.
Yeah, I know, I got you. So I just want to clarify. I am not talking shit about Jesse. I have nothing against him. I've actually thought his previous product, Jump Cut Academy, had a lot. I think that was him and Kong. There was a lot of value in that because that's what they're really good at. They're good at marketing, and they're way better at marketing than I am. Might be better at marketing than I ever will be. That's their fucking expertise. I will give them full credit for that, 100%, right? And I have nothing against the guy. Like if I saw him, I would shake his hand. I'd fucking do a shot with him, whatever, right? Nothing personal. I'm purely talking shit about the product, like something that they created, right? So I just want to clarify that it's not personal at all. Like I don't give a shit.
I'm not in any which way saying that. It's like like we both have opinions. Like I have negative opinions about people. You know, like we're like the same way. I'm not saying in any which way. It's just like I just had some trauma evolved around it, and so like that's just like there's some stupid shit, but I don't know. It's just like a personal thing. Like
I got you. By the way, just very quickly want to mention this so I don't forget. Remember that mutual friend that we were talking about, the one that you mentioned about talking shit? So I reached out to him that night, and he hit me up the following morning. He said, "It's all good. I don't care anymore. Nothing personal. We're good." So
good.
that fence is mended.
Okay, good. All right.
Just want to clarify that. I meant to tell you, but I totally forgot. All right, so let's actually crack into some questions because we got fucking a lot building up. Let's start off. What up, guys? Are there any subtle distinctions you notice between a guy with immediate, intermediate, and expert? So what's your take on that?
There's even, all right, so the way that I actually had to like subsect this a little bit. So there's intermediate, expert, and master, I would say. Intermediate game. So here's the difference between intermediate and expert. So a lot of you guys, I'm going to tell you guys exactly how to know where you're at right now. All right, so tell me this. If you are approaching a girl, and when you're approaching the girl, you feel like you're on a time limit, until she's not attracted to you anymore. So you're racing to get sex. You're an intermediate. Now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely don't have that.
Oh, okay. All right. So check this out. Now, if you're an expert, this is what the difference is. So there comes a point where you fake it till you make it. Then once you fake it till you make it and you made it, then you have to become authentic and become yourself. So the change is I still use techniques and shit like that. I still use outer game. Don't get me wrong, but it comes to a point where the change is you flip it on its head. You start realizing, you know what? Actually, this guy I'm faking, I am now. Girls are the reason girls even shit test you is to see if this person, this status that you're trying to save, I'm this fucking badass motherfucker. She's gonna push on you, see if you actually mean this. So what happens is you have to actually, so you can learn how to fake it and pass shit tests on an outer game level. You you agree. Exaggerates, you misinterpret, or you ignore. Well, that's the logical way of doing it, but why don't you just become it? And that way you don't have to fucking even do the outer game shit. So that's when it switches. Now time is on your side. Attraction equals time for you. That's how you know that if you're an expert level or intermediate level. Now master level is way different. That's shit where you're fucking you can see what people are gonna do before they do it. You've done so many sets over and over and over. It's become those are people who are trying to push in deep mastery though. None of you guys should honestly push there. That takes a level of effort only for people who are really doing this for a living. Nobody, if you have a day job, is going to be reaching up to that point. It's a tough ceiling to hit. And I say this because I do this for a living and I still feel on the edge of that. It's a tough place to push into.
Okay. So I would say slightly disagree. I think that, it's all fucking titles. I think guys get a little too stuck up oh, I'm just an intermediate. I'm not advanced yet. But it's there's not an official, it's not like you get some kind of trophy when you hit to a different level. Some dude wearing a robe comes up to you, sir, you're now advanced. There's not you can choose to be advanced at any point, right? So it's just a title. So for example, right, I would consider if I had to, again, I never say, oh, I'm advanced, whatever. I just want that shit super late. But if I had to rate myself, I would say, yeah, I'm advanced in game, right? That being said, say I go out with intermediate guy. One thing I never do, I don't go to clubs and I don't really dance, right? So that intermediate, even possibly beginner guy might have better game on the dance floor than me, even though I'm quote unquote advanced. For example, one of my strong suits is, I would say online and closing, right? I'm really good on dates, really good at closing, right? So that's an area I'm really good at. There's some for example, dance floor shit, probably not that good at it, right? So, it's kind of it's a combination of different skills. Some guys who are intermediate might be super good at opening and banter, but they might be horrible at closing, right? So where do you put them? So I just want to clarify, this is all the fucking, made up titles, right? So you don't want to get stuck on this. But that being said, another thing I will say, it just in my opinion, that intermediate is kind of where you can get laid, but you need you have these rituals. You have a set plan and things have to go according to plan. So you're okay, I meet her at this bar, then I take her to this bar, then I take her to my rooftop, and then we hook up. And it's a ritual that works well for you. But if someone throws a wrench in that plan, things can't work out, that's when you get scared, right? Versus advanced guy can handle any situation. So to him, it doesn't matter. He can go to a different bar, whatever. That has no effect on him. Another, I would say, distinction is this kind of what you mentioned, the social intuition spidey sense. So you can see things happen before they even happen, right? So you can sense that her friend is going to come in and cock block before it even happens. Versus the intermediate guy will deal with it when it happens. The advanced guy will deal with it before it even happens, right? He will sense that there's an excuse coming. The girl's about to give some kind of objection. He deals with the objection before it even surfaces. So that's kind of my take on that. I would say those are the distinctions. But again, I would say definitely don't get stuck on these titles like, oh, I'm intermediate. I need like 5 more pickup points and like 3 more threesomes to get to advanced level. Like it's all nonsense.
It's like, I agree with you. It's like the same way that if you focus on zone, you're never going to get in the zone. For me, it helps to like, all right, so I actually think we agree on this. I think we're just saying it in a different way. So like, if you're an intermediate, so a lot of guys that like you see game that are like, all right, I'm like, obviously I'm not going to say anybody's name, but like what you'll see with a certain kind of guy is that he has like a machine that he made himself. He's like, all right, so I have to say this line, this opener, how does he use C1, C2, whatever the hell they're doing. Like they're doing this like game with themselves. Now what they're doing is they approach girl. They put girl through this machine. Either she pops out the other side, like not interested, or she is interested. Now, when you do this kind of a thing, your results are very fragile. Like it's up and down. It's like you have a very low percentage of closing and girls into you. But like what you and me are doing is like we're ourselves. So what we did was we realized, it's more about the mindsets and the beliefs and cleaning up our own heads. And now what happens? Now we don't need the machine anymore. We approach a girl and like we just know what to do. It's like it's a game is a soft skill. It's like soccer. Like it's not like playing a piano. Playing a piano, you could do the same system over and over and get the same outcome. But playing soccer, if you're playing against a team, it's varying results. So like what happens is like at a certain level, you might be doing this machine that helps and gets you results every so often, like on a very low percentage. But then you're like, you know what? Maybe I should just be cool. Like maybe I should just start being myself. Maybe like I should just like authentically become this guy I'm faking. And then once you do that, now you can actually like the girl will say something like a shit test, and that they would throw off another guy's system, but you're like, you can combat it a lot better. And you can variate, you can move with it, you can like duck and dodge. Now, the only reason I like this is because for me, knowing where somebody's at, it helps me coach them a little bit. Like if you're a beginner, you're going through what I call the mist, which is where you don't understand what's going on around you. You can't read social cues. But then as you start becoming intermediate, you start picking up a little bit when a girl likes you. You have a subtle inkling, and you start seeing more patterns. You start getting more of a tacit understanding. Then as you start like pushing up, like beginner to intermediate is an easy like jump because all you have to do is approach. You suck so much that all you have to do is approach, and your brain unconsciously is going to pick up the shit that you don't understand. It's going to start being able to read social cues. You're also going to become more confident. You're going to become more, you approach a girl, you can give her better eye contact because now you're more confident. Now, once you hit intermediate to mastery, you need more intelligent effort because there's things that you're doing that you've been doing every day, building bad habits and ingraining. And now you have to like literally like here, one sec, I'll show you this shit. Now at this point, you have to start understanding what you're doing wrong and right at any given point. So check this shit out. I know what I'm doing wrong and right at any given point. Dude, you can ask me anything like business, money, girls. I have this shit down. Like I know what I need to do to get myself to the next level. And like that's the difference. Like it helps you out with like that's why I say write field reports. It helps you kind of like digest and like think things through.
Oh, I agree with that part. Definitely write field reports. It's very helpful. Definitely. I still do it to this day. I write field reports all the time. I think that's one of the things that guys don't do nearly enough. You want to write field reports where it goes well and where it doesn't go well, right? So you can learn from your mistakes and learn from your successes. 100% agree with that part. I would say that, okay, so kind of it sounds like you have a very internal-driven view of what makes a game successful. So in your opinion, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it just kind of sounds like it really, once you figure out the internals, you have good internals, everything will sort of take care of itself, right?
Yeah. It's like both, like we both agree on this, outer and inner game matters. Like it's
gotcha. Okay, so it's both. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was just gonna say, for example, there's like, let's say like Surgical Pickup, who I love and respect a lot, but they have a very external-driven view of game. They just think it's like very much like a strategy, logical game where you just master certain skills, and that's what matters. So I'm closer to where you are. I think that internal are by far the biggest factors. Let's take like my clients, right? I'll get guys, if I get a guy who has his internal shit figured out, like he's cool, confident, normal, but he just doesn't know online, I will get that guy good so fucking fast, dude. But say I take the same, even if his external game sucks, he has the worst profile ever, I will get him good like in a few days. Let's take a guy who has the same exact shitty profile. Say his profile is not even that bad, right? But his internals are horrible. It will take me a while to get that guy good because he's going to fight me every step of the way and he's going to fall back into his old habits. So I actually am closer kind of to where you are, where I think I think both internal and external matter. I think internal by far, is more important. But you need both. Both are essential because sometimes external feeds into internal. Because if you're going out, you're not getting results a lot. That's going to bring down your internals. If you're going out and you're constantly getting late, like let's take a guy who's super socially awkward. Let's say I have this magic wand, and every single girl who he talks to fucks him for a week. His internals are going to fucking change. He's going to think he's the shit, even though he did zero work on himself. So, that's an extreme example. But, they both tie into each other, like internals, externals. They're like, sometimes coaches approach them as two separate things. But they're very much interlinked. It's like your back is linked to your neck. Your shoulder is linked to your arm. Like, you can't, like, if you injure your arm, you can't, like, fucking, you have to, like, work on your shoulder as well. That's why I do, like, rotator cuff training. Anyway, that was, like, a mad rant. Let's go to the next question because we kind of got stuck on this one for a while. Unless you had something you want to
add. No, dude. Like, honestly, yeah, go for it.
All right, for the guys in a relationship, how do you remain that leader and rock for your girlfriend where she doesn't get bored of you or cheats? Okay, so you want to do your take on this first? I have like a strong opinion on this.
Yeah. All right. So what most guys do is that they end up getting a girlfriend out of a place of scarcity and a place of abundance. You never want to get a girlfriend out of a place of this is my only option. Like, that's the worst place to be, because what you're going to do is, like, you're always going to be subtly, like, kind of jaded towards her. And not to mention, like, the option to cheat is always going to be there because, like, well, if a better, like, looking girl comes along, like, why wouldn't you sleep with another girl? But, like, you don't want to date a girl like this because she'll also, like, if you're not the boss, if you're not like a badass motherfucker, it comes down to where, like, now she's also going to be the same way towards you. She's not going to say it, but she's going to be a little bit, like, kind of bitchy towards you at times. And it's because she hates the fact she dated you over another guy because she had to settle. Don't ever fucking date from this place. Now, you want to be the guy. Now, here's the perfect guy for a relationship. You're the badass motherfucker that could date any girl, that can slay any fucking thing. But for whatever reason, you love the fuck out of this girl. And you're loyal to her. That's the difference. And you're honest and authentic. You're not, like, manipulative with her. You care about her so much that even if you had to, like, take a loss to do what's best for this girl, you would still you would do it. You would take it. You wouldn't fucking, like, cheat, lie. You wouldn't do any of that kind of stuff. You're always going to be honest and authentic. Words and actions are aligned. And, like, that's, like, and when you're like that, when you care about a person, like, you're going to draw somebody to you that's like that as well. Like, if you're always authentic, normal, cool, you're going to draw somebody that, like attracts like. So ultimately, you want to, like I cheated a lot when I was younger and, like, was an asshole. Nowadays, for a lot of, like, I thought I saw, like, somebody mentioned cheating on girls. I don't cheat on girls. I'm honest. I have a high sex drive. I game. I do pickup. This is my life. This is my passion. You're not going to get in the way of this, because if you get in the way of this, I become a loser. I become shy. You're not going to like me. So, like, I tell girls this preemptively. Like, I'm like, this is my passion. You're not going to fucking stop, like, fucking Elon Musk from making a Tesla. Don't stop me from approaching girls.
Let me ask you a quick side question before I dive into it. Do you feel like actually if you stop game, you would go back to, like, being a quote unquote loser?
I have. I've done it before in the past where, like, I work in my business for, like, a long time. And then, like, I become, like, a total fucking loser. I try to take, like, so this is also another reason why I'm so passionate about the looks thing. I try to take the looks route, and, like, I would, like, hit the gym hell hard, get a six-pack going, take care of my hair, my face, and girls would hate my guts. And then I'd get fat, and, like, I would, like, not take care of myself, become a slob, and just game a lot. And girls love the fuck out of me. So, like, that's, again, it's, like, again, I could be biased because, like, let's put it this way. Maybe it's, like, it's because I lacked maybe if I had, like, the game and I had the looks, maybe my game would be even better now. So it's again another fallacy. So I really don't know.
Have the looks. So you're not a bad looking guy again. No homo, but, like, it's not like you're a slob or something like that. Or you're fat. Like, I can say with me personally, it's the complete opposite. Like, I used to be really bad with game, and when I was 20, 21, like, yes, I'd get rejected a lot. It was like a fucking nightmare. Well, dude, I got Lyme disease 2 years ago, and I basically took 6 months completely off game. I literally did 0 approaches. I was literally just focused on my health. I was laying in bed for half the time. Like, and I thought, honestly, because I never went that long with doing 0. It wasn't just 0 fucking cold approach. It was 0 interactions with anyone besides my doctor and my mom, honestly, and, like, a few of my close friends. So I thought that I was going to almost have to relearn everything. Dude, I was back to, like, 99% where I was in, like, 5 days. Like, to me, it's like I can take any time off and I'll more or less be back, like, not 100%, but, like, 98%, within a few days. Not the first day, but within, like, 4 or 5 days, I can get back to, like, super duper quick. That's just kind of been my own personal experience. But okay, so I want to touch on the question. So I agree with what you said. I'm going to add a few things though. So I think the big mistake that guys make is I've seen this all the time. They talk about, how do I game my girlfriend? How do I keep my girlfriend interested? That is the wrong place to be coming from. You don't want to be think about it this way. Would you ever be talking about how do I game my friends into being friends with me? Like how do I keep keeping my friends interested in me? That would be a horrible frame. And that was a very low value frame. Yo, guys don't do that. They think, yeah, they're my friends. Like we like each other. We have a good time together. I'm cool. I'm good to them, right? Should be the same, almost not exactly, but almost the same exact attitude with your girlfriend. Yes. Initially I, put a lot of game into getting girls, but after I start dating girls, there's almost zero game. Like I'm not ever consciously thinking, okay, how do I keep her interested? How do I do that? Really, here are the things that do matter. Don't get needy. Do not become needy. So a lot of guys can get into relationships where they become very needy. Don't do that. Instant attraction killer. Don't get cucked. Don't let your wife get fucked by another guy in front of you. I know that's like a big thing now, but yeah. I would say, okay, don't get needy. Oh, have a purpose that's not your girlfriend, right? So sometimes guys make this mistake. Their goal is to just get a relationship. Once they get into that relationship, they focus all their energy on the girl. That's like their goal. Women don't find that attractive. That's why so many marriages end where the woman works and the guy stays at home. Like those marriages never ever work because the girl loses respect. So you need a purpose. Doesn't have to be pickup. Can be your business. Can be fitness. Can be anything and everything. Your charity, whatever. You need a purpose. That's not the woman. Like your main purpose in life should not be the chick that you're with, right? You should value her. And the last component is just good communication. This is also an important factor. Guys a lot of guys are so bad communicating. They think that, I can game my way into making her not mad at me. No, just fucking communicate. Like just be like, hey, what's on your mind? Why do you feel that? What makes you think that? Okay, this is how I feel. Like if you just communicate, like just better communication can solve so many fucking problems.
I like when you act like a certain way and you're trying to game your girlfriend, the unfortunate thing is you're gonna draw a narcissist to you. So I had a classic thing where I draw a theatrical narcissist to me. And like I also was a narcissist myself. Like I feel like I was not exactly, I was not, I should never have dated. Like I'm actually still uncomfortable dating because I think that there's still it in me for me to like do some, like if I start liking a girl too much, I'm afraid that I would become like narcissistic or codependent just to keep her around because I feel like I need to like kind of keep her. Yeah.
I feel like you've gone past all that, like with
we talked about this. Like a lot of the reason we get into this because we had fucked up childhoods, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like decides to be a dating coach because they had a great childhood.
No, like do you feel like you're at a point where you're like kind of past all that? Like while it's still there in the background, maybe it has a little bit of effect, but you're kind of just like at a point where you're just like, you know what I mean? Like at a certain point, like dude, I used to have so much insecurity around women, but like at a certain point, like, oh, is my dick too small? Like, at a certain point, I just got to the point now where I can remember all this stuff and it's more like funny to me rather than it weighs me down. I'm just like, yeah, that's who I used to be, but I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah, well, it's like it seems like almost like a distant memory in a way. Like I remember the guy that I used to be, and it seems like almost like another person inhabited my body in a way. Yeah, like that's how it feels. Yeah, I don't know if you can like relate to that. But
no, I definitely do. It's like how was I that person? Like how was that really me? You almost look at it, you know when you get to a point where like you've truly let go is when it becomes funny, right? So I think the first level is when you are that person. You're that person who, for example, can't express himself and sucks at escalating. Then you're the person who realizes the second step is self-awareness. So you're still making those mistakes, but you're aware of them. Third level is when you start to despise that person that used to be, and you go too far to the other extreme, right? Mm-hmm. Fourth level is when you went too far to the other extreme, and now you're kind of in the middle, and you've kind of gone past that, but you still like have those like bitter memories. And I was actually in that stage for a while. My game was good, but I was just like really stuck. Like those fucking kids in high school, like they didn't like me. Like why? And then I think the last level was where you just find it funny. You just can laugh at the fact that like that used to be you. And you're like, that's so ridiculous. I think I'm kind of in between that point and the point before that, where I just have this like, I don't know, that kind of like that fire in my stomach, or to the point where I just find it funny. So I feel like I'm kind of right now in between all that.
I feel that, man. Yeah, I don't know. Like I actually have a hard time. Well, I've been. They say in psychology, like, so the way to like kind of fix the trauma is to come to terms with it, or like kind of relive it and like kind of notice like, all right, so what I did then and the fucked up shit I did then, or the person I was, or the things I was willing to do, it's not like go back to the memory and relive it and be like, how would I do that now? Be like, okay, cool. Well, then that action that past version of me took is not me. I'm a different person. So like, that's kind of how I did it. Like I did this thing where I sat in my room for 48 hours and I tried to figure out myself. And one of the things I realized was that, so if you want to kill like a monster, Like, all right, so if you like want to kill a vampire, if you want to kill a werewolf, if you want to kill like, yeah, if you want to kill those monsters, they seem invincible. Like when you first like come in contact with them. However, once you learn, you can kill a wolf with a silver bullet. Once you understand that you can kill one like a vampire putting a stake through the heart, like by understanding your monster, now you can get rid of it. Like you have to understand where all the shit's coming from. Like you have inner drives that are like hidden to you, and people don't understand this. Like people run so deep, and your psychology runs so deep, and just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not there. The ability of intrapersonal intelligence is like everybody thinks they understand themselves until they actually start delving in and they start really looking at it. So like I suggest anybody, like one of my friends suggested I did it, like go sit in my room 40 hours, I'll lock myself in the room, and I just grabbed a whole bunch of notebooks. Yeah, I just like
were you allowed to go on your phone?
No. So what I did was I turned off no electronics, no books, just water, food, notebooks, my bed. My friend had said that I
would make like 2 hours max. I would die.
I did it in increments, to be honest. I did it like in 12-hour increments, and then like I did 4 increments total. Like I put it on my secondary success channel. I only put up 2 of them up, but I did 4.
I'll have to check that out. Have you ever done hypnotherapy? Have you ever tried that?
No, I never tried it.
I did like 10 sessions of hypnotherapy. Very interesting, because what they do is they hypnotize you, and then they go back to like trauma in your life, and then you relive it. So it's kind of going into what you were talking about, but you do it under hypnosis and under the guidance of someone. It's very interesting. I'm not sure if I would recommend it or not. I mean, it certainly can't hurt. But I thought it was a very interesting experience. Like, it's definitely something I want to do again at some point in my life. It's just kind of expensive. That's why I stopped doing it. Okay, so let's jump to the next question. 2 of my favorite guys. That's what's up. What's up, Brad? Talk about each one. Okay, so we actually covered this quite extensively about opinion looks for trend. So we can kind of move past that. Barely no one asked this, but how are you guys tonight? Thank you for asking, Mr. Video Watcher 295. I am good. How are you, Denton?
A little tired, but I'm feeling good, man. I'm happy to be here.
All right. I got a date after this. I gotta like put my shit together. It's a public date. Also, this chick won't come straight over, so I gotta actually meet her in public. Yikes! I haven't done one of those in weeks.
We need to figure out that fucking product. We need to get that up.
The gall of this woman trying to meet me in public. Like, God, does she know who I am? I don't really drink, but I'm open to the idea of wine at home date. Do you have a beginner recommendation for wine to have on hand at home? That's funny. I actually get this question a lot. It comes down to personal preference, bro. Like, I personally like Pinot Grigios and Rieslings. I just like lighter wines because red wine actually gives me stomach aches. That's just me personally. But like, really, honestly, there's no like right or wrong. Just like fucking try wines and pick one that you like, you know? Or if you want to really just play it safe, have red and white wine. And literally when the girl comes over, you say, do you like red or white? Like, can't do it wrong that way. You know, you can just go to the wine store and ask them for recommendations. Like, what's the best wine under $15? For guys that don't really drink, like I don't really drink much either. So I can't remember the last time I was drunk. It was like probably like a few years ago. So but what I do is I'll just pour myself a glass of wine and I'll drink like half of it, right? You're not going to get drunk. You're not going to get fucked up. You're not going to really experience any negative health effects unless you're an alcoholic. If you're an alcoholic, don't do that. But aside from being an ex-alcoholic, you know, that's really what I would recommend. Like guys like, oh, but I don't really like to get drunk. Like, no one says you have to get drunk. You know, just have half a glass of wine and just focus on her and escalate, right? You don't have to but just having a little bit of wine is just it's like the mental aspect of it. It's going to make the girl feel more comfortable. So that's my advice to those guys. But if you're an ex-alcoholic, like you have to take a different approach because you don't want to tempt yourself. Do you have any remarks on
Not
this?
really. I'm not a wine person, honestly. Like
What's your drink of choice?
Huh?
What's your drink of choice?
Jack and Coke, I'd say. Like if I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna have some Jack and Coke.
Yeah, I like whiskey a lot. I like good whiskey. I've actually been lately getting into Japanese whiskey. There's some fucking good whiskeys in Japan. All right, so my favorite question. Alex, you mentioned before kratom has been a game changer for you. In what ways has it helped? How often? How much do you use? Dependent? Are there any substances you like using? All right, so let me answer this part and crack into it. So yes, kratom has been a big game changer for me. That being said, kratom does not affect everyone positively. So I've given kratom to pretty much all my friends, all my booty calls. So I have even my family, like I've given kratom to probably at least 20 to 30 people by now. And about half of them get a really positive effect from it. Half of them don't like it. They either get nauseous, they get too sleepy. It's just not a positive effect. It's nothing bad. Like they don't get horribly sick or anything. They're fine a few hours later. So I think kratom, for what I've seen, really only works for about half the people. Now, fortunately, I'm part of that half. And so in what ways has it helped? It just makes me more, I would say, more social, more talkative, more outgoing. It's not, I'm still already those things, but I kind of have like, especially because I had Lyme disease for a while, so I'm still like in the recovery process from that. So it kind of left me with like a lot of brain fog and shit like that, like very mild cognitive issues. So kratom just kind of clears it up and just fully turns my brain on. You know, one thing I would really equate it to is modafinil. Kratom hits me very similar to the way modafinil does. The difference is that modafinil fucking keeps me up all night, and then with modafinil, I'm not going to go to sleep. Kratom has no negative effect on my sleep. It's also natural. Like I don't like to do pills, you know, if I don't have to. So that's kind of the closest thing I would equate it to. It's a little bit different. Now, another big thing that kratom has helped is I will share something slightly embarrassing. Initially, like when I was first getting into game, I was one of those fucking two-pump chumps. Like I would bust a nut so fast. Like literally, the night I lost my virginity, it lasted 10 seconds. Like I don't think the girl knew I was even inside of her. She probably thought I was still fingering her, and like I had already finished on her stomach. So kratom really is a game changer when it comes to that. Like with kratom, I can just fucking last forever. And it's interesting because sometimes I'll have sex, you know, completely off kratom, and I'll feel myself coming after a few minutes. I'll like have to stop and kind of do all this shit. I have to stop and like eat her out, and like because now I'm gonna obviously prevent myself from coming because I don't want to fucking bust it on 2 minutes. I feel it like happening, but with kratom, like I can resist that urge for hours. So in terms of sex, it's been a game changer for me. It also has really helped like a lot of my creativity. Like I can do crazy amounts of work and writing on kratom. Like just my brain links ideas really fast. So I wrote a content update on usually, okay, when I'm creating a content update, it takes me weeks, you know, because those are like, you know, they're like 20 pages. It takes me weeks to come up with it. I did one on kratom in 3 nights in a row. Like I wrote like 30 pages in like a few days. Like it was crazy. Like, you know, 30 pages of like, you know, not bullshit, but actual like, you know, value. So in that sense, it's been really good to me. But again, it doesn't work well for, you know, I would say about half the people I've given it to.
Yeah, for me, like one of my friends when I was like 22, 23, when I was like right before I worked for RSD, he was selling it, like, and he gave me some. And my very first time trying it fucking lit me up. I don't push it like anymore. But like after that, it kind of like I never felt anything after that. And I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, like I don't know, like all right, here. Like I do have supplements I use. Like, all right, so I got like telomere support plus antioxidants. Like it has flaxseed in it and stuff like that. I take like 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Then I have turmeric pills. I got some like turmeric pills I take. Like some
turmeric is great. For inflammation and just overall health, turmeric is great.
This shit's really good for you. I also got fish oil pills. I have like, now this is the one thing that one of my friends gave me. I don't usually buy this. I've taken probably like 3 pills of this. It's like Weaponized Mind. I haven't taken any now in like a week, but it's like the time I did take it, I did feel like I had more energy, but I don't know if it was like a placebo or if it's actually real. Yeah, like when I tried it.
You fuck with like more hardcore shit like modafinil, Adderall, like Femibute or anything like that?
I've heard a lot of my friends in like Europe have been trying to modafinil, and yeah. All right, so here I'll fill you in a little bit. When I was like 24, 25, I had a really bad breakup, and like I really cared about this girl and whatnot. And one of my friends, he was like, he lives in Vegas and he's a bit of a drug user and whatnot. Like on occasion, like he was like an amazing salesman, like $6,000 in a day or something like that. And he knows how sad it was. He's like, dude, let's go into the fucking desert. Here, how about this? Like, let's go do some drugs and whatnot. And like, don't worry, I got your back. All right, I'm gonna bring everything, and like, you're gonna like, don't even worry about it. Well, this guy had a tolerance like a motherfucker, and I didn't know this, so I was like trying to keep up with his ass. Well, I ended up overdosing when this happened, and I had
what did you do? What were you taking?
It was like 2 pressed pills of Molly, and it was 2 tablets of acid. Because I didn't know how much that was. He just told me I was okay, and then we drank on top of that, and we brought like a gallon of water out, and like, you know, we quickly blew through that, and you know, then like I just passed out. It scared the shit out of me. So I'm so fucking careful about that shit, man. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just like,
I think you have to be. I really only ever fuck with natural shit. Like, I mean, I've tried other drugs, but like, you know, I I would only ever take like somewhat regularly something that's natural. Like, I'll smoke weed to wind down the night, or like, kratom, like things that are natural, right? Like they're not in pill form. Like stuff like modafinil, I think is great, but I just don't like to fuck with pills often. Maybe like once in a blue moon type of thing. Roll occasionally, once every few years on a special occasion. But again, like I don't think pills can really fuck you up. And there's also more side effects and all that thing. So I personally like only recommend natural shit for like regular type of stuff. And even some natural shit I don't fuck with, like shrooms. Dude, I did shrooms a few times. Dude, it was fucking insane. Like that is one of the craziest drugs. Like I've tried a lot of drugs, and shrooms are fucking crazy, dude. I literally felt like a crazy person for 8 hours. Like some people love psychedelics, dude. Not for me. Like I don't think I'm ever gonna do shrooms again. Like fuck that shit. That was just like way too intense for me. But some people really respond well to that. So I think a lot of it is also personal preference.
Yeah.
Like for example, my old roommate, he was like really like he loved drinking, and he like literally he told me like, Alex, like alcohol for me is what kratom is for you. He's like, I feel more creative, more social, more everything when I'm drunk. And I was like, dude, I just feel sloppy and sleepy when I'm drunk. But like, it's just like kind of shit affects everyone so differently. All right, so how to re-engage on Tinder after you've rematched. The context is last time you matched, got her number, set up a date, but she flaked. I would probably say you again. That would probably be my opener. And she'd be like, haha, hey. I would probably say like second time, we match again. And then she'd be like, haha, yeah. And then you could say like, well, we gotta do a little bit better this time. So don't say you gotta do, say we gotta do a little bit better this time, right? Even though it's her fault because of the flaking, just kind of position it like that. And she'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. And then just kind of, you don't have to redo. You can say, how you've been. Like if you remember something about her, you can kind of mention it, but you don't have to like restart from scratch, right? Because you already have a lot of that. So you just kind of, it's more of like re-engaging an old lead rather than, starting with a new trick.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to pull up currently like the line that I use because I'm going through my messages because I remember. Yeah, let me try to find this line. I do use a line, but like it's not my line. Here, let me see if I can find it. Well, here, I'm just gonna give you the gist of it. Basically, the idea is. Oh wait, there it is. Oh, there it is. Hey, I was hoping you could help. A cute girl went missing, and I was wondering where she went. And I did like a kind of like a a coy face emoji. And
I don't like that one. It's too gamey. I don't like gamey shit.
It works really well. It tests well.
Okay. I'm open to reconsidering things.
Yeah, it's not me. I don't like it. Like I want to say it otherwise, but like I was like, there's people that understand this shit better than me, and like it seems to like do pretty well for them. And I was like, all right, cool. All right, I'll use it.
What kind of results have you had with it personally? Like you found a lot of girls are responding to that positively?
To be honest, I haven't used it too much. I switch it up, and I like sometimes I'll just say what I'm thinking, and I'll just be like, hey, like I'll just be as simple as like, hey, what's up, stranger? Been a second, or like I'm not like, like I'm trying to get a little bit more like technical with it, but I go back and forth, and I always test things. Right now, I'm actually going through and I'm screenshotting all my messages, and I want to try to look for patterns in my messaging so I can start packaging it and teaching it.
Fun. I did that when I was researching the product. Yeah, man, it's a fun journey.
Yeah. Because I never so for me, I'm good at messaging now and I'm really good at it, but it's not for any tangible reason I can say. I just know what to say. Like I just know what to say. Like I don't know how to explain it. I always know what to say and how to put the vibe underneath it that will work.
Right.
Yeah, like you've been studying this and you figured out you kind of figured out the mechanics. I thought that if my game was so good, I wouldn't need text game. And so that's kind of was my mentality behind it. But now in retrospect, I'm like, to be honest, if I can package this, that's a really good skill set. Like being able to, help somebody out with that. As a coach, I should be able to help everybody out with every aspect of game.
Yeah, generally speaking, guys who have other aspects of game figured out, like it's not they sometimes they'll say like, oh, I don't do any text game. Well, they do text game without realizing it, right? Like anytime you're effectively communicating with a girl over Messenger, that's more or less text game, right? Whether you're consciously doing it subconsciously, that's not as important. So I find that's quite common. And sometimes I'll have natural friends that'll be like, oh dude, I don't do any texting. I'm like, cool, let me see your text. I'm like, dude, you did this, this, and this. This is what I call this. You just didn't know you were doing it. They're like, holy shit, I didn't know this. I'm like, I know. Now you do. All right, cool. So let's jump to the next one. Got so many building up. What is the psychology of failing? How does it affect you in real life? Do you journal?
A lot. Every day.
Interesting.
Like multiple times a day.
Do you recommend it?
Oh, fuck yeah. Like 110%. It's like whenever you practice anything, you need quality and quantity of practice. And most people, like, whenever they do like what we do, something that has like it doesn't have a clear like you can do the same thing that like in one moment would have gotten you an incredible result, that but at the next time will like get you a terrible result. And like by like being able to like kind of like look at yourself and kind of like break it down, you can like take stuff that like seemingly like in the moment doesn't make sense, but when you like start to, like tracking it, there's so many reasons. This is only one of like dozens of reasons why you should do this. Like now that you can see patterns, now you can be like, oh, so that must be how this works. Or like, you know, now you're not like just blindly going at it. Like a lot of times people will keep going out, gaming, hitting, and like, oh no, I can't possibly get any better at game because, oh no, look at this. Like I've been gaming now for like 2 years and girls are still giving me the same results, but are you doing anything different? Are you doing the same opener every day? All you're doing is like the same exact game. Of course you're gonna get the same fucking results.
Is your journaling primarily game related or is it just overall like life related?
Overall, like everything. So game, audits. I do self audits. I sit down at the end of the day and I ask myself how my 2.0 version of myself handles the day differently. I also like start the day off like that too. Like I'll sit down, I'll kind of like think it through and be like, how would the next version of myself handle the day that I have ahead of me?
Dude, that's one thing I really got to get into because I've heard numerous other people, like numerous people tell me about the benefits of journaling. Like, everyone who journals, like Tim Ferriss is a huge component of it. You know, I actually wrote an article very recently, a few days ago, about my morning routine. So one thing I'm big at is meditating, Wim Hof method meditation. I've tried pretty much every form of meditation and I sucked at all of them and I couldn't get through any of them. Wim Hof has been a game changer for me. So that was like my fucking jump into. I do infrared sauna, I do ice plunge bath, and I do like self-improvement books. But yeah, I haven't done journaling, but I should. I mean, I've heard so many great things about it. So I'm gonna get into that. Maybe a good way to like wind down the night, you know, just journal for a few minutes.
There was a book actually about like building habits. So what I started doing originally was like you want to build the habit of showing up to the habit first. So like 3 things wrong, 3 things right. And, like that's all I did. And as time goes on, your ego will align with your actions. And because like your brain has to justify the reason you do everything in your life. It's like because it gives you the character. So when you take the action over and over again, like 3 things right, 3 things wrong, 3 things right, 3 things wrong. You just have to make sure you keep showing up to the habit, and eventually your brain's gonna be like, all right, so there must be like I must be this person that's just like a hustler, a hard worker. Then you start giving yourself feedback that this is just me. I'm a badass. I write feels.
Is that how you recommend to do it? Like just start off by doing 3 things right, 3 things wrong. I've heard about that before. Do you recommend that?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's what I started with. I don't even know if I came up with that or heard it from somebody, but that's what I started with, and it made it.
I've heard that before. I've heard that before. And is that now what you're doing, or now you built on top of
that? I do. Mine are actually getting really intricate, and I switch it up all the time. So like, what's the field report I just did here? Like, so the way I do it is like I try to like all chronological order, like break down things I did. I'm trying to look through my notes right now. I don't know if I can find something on this. But like all right, like I'll do like all right. So here, give me 1 second. I'll show you guys.
It's all good. I was actually more asking for myself because I was just curious because I'm gonna try journaling. This conversation was kicking the ass that I wanted. I want to just get through a few more of these questions. We got so many fucking stacked. Question: Ran to a place for a 3rd date and couldn't pull the trigger to smash, even though she gave IOIs. How do I proceed? Dank is savage. Well, I would say you're not a true savage if you couldn't pull the trigger. That's my fucking lame joke of the night. How do I proceed? Rent a place for a 3rd date, couldn't pull the trigger to smash, even though she gave IOIs. Why? You have to start with the why. Why couldn't you pull the trigger? Was it purely internal? You just have this fear of rejection, fear of escalation. You have to start with the whys, and then you go from there. But honestly, I can tell you when I was getting into game, like when I didn't close a date. And when I like nowadays, if I go on a date and I don't close, I honestly don't really give a shit that much. But I can tell you when I was serious about improving my success with women, because I was at a point where I'm like, I'm not going to be happy if my success with women stays like this. Like I don't want to be stuck at this point. So like if I felt like I didn't do everything in my power to make the hookup happen. Now, if you do everything and it still doesn't happen, don't blame yourself. You know, there's a chance factor, there's a luck factor. No coach, I can tell you, I don't close every girl. You know, I'm sure you don't close every girl. There's chance and luck involved in this for sure. But if I knew that there was something I could have done and I didn't pull a trigger, I would feel so fucking bad. That feeling, that possibility of that bad feeling was enough motivation for me to make sure that I always did everything in my power, because just remembering that fucking, I don't know, it would just be such, I'll be like, I'm a fucking loser, I'm a loser, I'm a loser. And that possibility of that pain was enough motivation for me. And so eventually, if you do that long enough, you get to a point though where just like closing and just doing everything in your power just becomes a part of you. Like nowadays, that never happens to me. I don't even think about like, oh, if I don't close this girl, I'm such a loser. I'm just like, it's just part of who I am. Like just how I take a shit every morning, like I'm gonna close on my date. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. What do you think?
Sorry, go for it. Your audience has asked some really cool questions. Like my audience never asked this. Like I asked this question before.
Dude, we got some cool guys.
All right, here. I actually have a really complex answer to this, though. If you want to hear it.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, sick.
Let me get some water while you do it. Let me just grab water. Just keep going.
You're chill, man. Don't worry about it. So, all right. So here's what's going on, man. Okay, so first and foremost, you went on 3 dates. You are probably, I'm gonna guess this on you. So there's 2 different personalities a guy will represent to a girl. It's either adventurous or it's gonna be conservative. So you take one of 2 routes. Either one, you can't be yourself and you can't be adventurous, and you're judging. You're like a judging personality. You're judging yourself. You're judging the girl, and you're not willing to be like maybe goofy at times, stupid, like do stupid shit. And now because you're like this, now the girl's gonna see that you're this person, and the person that she would give maybe the adventurous type guy, she's not gonna give to you. She's gonna put you on the 3-date route and not sleep with you. As opposed to like maybe me or playing with fire here, like we're gonna act like, you know, like adventurous, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna not take ourselves seriously. So the girl doesn't take herself seriously. So then like him and me will sleep out with a girl on the first date. She'll want to. Because we're not like every other guy. We're not those guys that she needs to play this fucking game with. We're the guys that she was like, oh, if I sleep with him, he's not going to judge me. Second reason.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Action feeds ego. You took 3 dates with this girl. Like, so again and again and again. So now your brain is on some levels backwards rationalizing your actions. And so now it becomes tougher and tougher because you haven't taken actions to say, like, have you even kissed the girl? Like, that's a big thing. Have you even have you been physical with her, touching her, hugging her?
You got a hand job, yeah.
Or are you keeping like a 3-foot boundary because you feel so awkward around her? And then the last part is that you invested so much over 3 dates. Anybody that games knows this. A short set doesn't hurt. Like if you get rejected in a short set, it doesn't hurt as much as a girl that you invested hours in. Like the more you invest in somebody, the more that you start becoming outcome dependent. So you took 3 dates and now you became outcome dependent on a girl that shouldn't have been outcome dependent. And now because you're outcome dependent, now you're like, oh no, I don't want to fuck this up. But because you're trying not to fuck it up, you fucked it up. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're like, I don't want to fuck it up, and now guess what? You're fucking it up.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I agree with that. I agree with pretty much everything you just said. All right, let's go to the next one. So, how to re-engage on Tinder after you guys match, hit it off, but they don't text when you send your number? Is it fail, or is it a sign that she's skeptical, just forgetful? You don't know, so that's why you say don't be shy. Just follow up with a text. Say don't be shy, like something like that. Like, you know, again, there's nothing wrong with following up. You just don't have enough information. She might have not gotten the notification. She might have had, her app might be glitching. She might have gotten fucked the night before and she doesn't give a shit about you anymore. It could be any number of things. So follow up and then, you know, find out what it is. You know, quite often, you know, a chick will, you know, I forget. Like, I'll give you guys an example. I have my date for tomorrow, right? So we matched on Tinder earlier in the week. We started talking, you know, we're talking in the week. And on Wednesday, we made a date for Friday, right? Thursday rolls around, I just hit her up, you know, just a pinging text. She doesn't respond. Friday, I go to confirm the text, and she says, I can't go, sorry, right? Like, not offering any excuse. I hit her with a takeaway, like, if you're too nervous, I don't understand. Doesn't respond. I wait till today. And I'm like, okay, let's just see what's going on here. Like, maybe she legitimately got fucked. She only wanted one night stand. She doesn't want to hang out anymore. It could be any number of things. So I hit her with I genuinely didn't take you for the flaky type, which I find is a very, very powerful way to re-engage in those situations, because no girl wants to be known as the flaky girl, right? So they're all going to then respond with, like, what happened. And she responds with, sorry, I just got nervous. And I said, I understand. I said, no, I didn't say understand. I said, thank you for the honesty. I appreciate the honesty. What made you nervous? And then this is what she said. She said, the fact that the whole stripping thing. What she's referencing to is when we were shooting the shit on Tuesday, I made a very obvious joke. What I thought is that I was a stripper. I'm not a fucking stripper. Like, how do you look at me and think I'm a stripper? Like, I'm in good shape. I'm not in fucking stripper shape. So I thought that it was so obvious that I was kidding. I never explicitly told her I was kidding, and she thought I was serious. And she just felt intimidated. Like, you know, she's like, oh, this guy's a stripper, like, blah, blah, blah. So this something really that fucking silly was, like, made the date not happen. Then we talked. Now we have a date set up for tomorrow. So again, like that's why the power of following up, because it could be something so retarded, and you can just like easily talk it out, and then bam.
You actually gave a way better answer than I would have. Like, I love the lines were really good. I actually just wrote them down. It's cool if you're bashful, didn't take you for the flaky type. That's dope. I actually love that. Here, I'll add to it a little bit though. So the reason a girl flakes you is she's doing a constant value assessment in her head. Girls are like, they are. So whereas we're like, obviously us as a group, we're all guys. We would like be like, so the girls have more of a value in the beginning as opposed to a girl. Girls are like, girls are getting thrown dudes all the time. So like going on a date with you is not a bad thing. But here's the thing though, most guys are weird and creepy on the date, and it's awkward and it's terrible. So if a girl has to choose between you, random stranger, versus maybe hang out with her friend, value assessment. What's the chances of this being awkward versus value? If she hangs out with a friend, there's a good chance of value and it not being awkward. But if she hangs out with you, maybe you're cool, maybe you're not, maybe you say some clever shit. Now she's gonna be like, oh well, he's heaving it out a little bit, and now you're kind of playing this game. And two, like that's actually a really good point that you pointed out. Like girls do get bashful sometimes. So sometimes a girl reason won't hang out with you is because she's like, oh, my makeup is on a point or my hair is off, and now she's gonna like push you off on the date. That's a real thing. Girls do that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're chill, man. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, how like sometimes when you're like, what, tonight I really want to fucking get laid, and sometimes like, what, like I just want to hang out with the boys tonight. I just want to chill tonight. Like I don't really care that much, right? How you have different moods. Girls will like that times 100. So you're talking to a chick on Wednesday, and Wednesday she might be feeling really horny, really adventurous. One of her good girlfriends just met the guy of her dreams and had some night of epic sex. She's really feeling like she wants to go out. Friday rolls around, even the next day, even 5 hours later, completely different state. She's just like, I don't know. She's crampy, she has some diarrhea, whatever. Like, she's like, my nails, like, I don't know. Like she's in a completely different state, right? And guys, it's really important to realize that women are creatures of state. So she may have agreed to something in one state, but now she's in a completely different state. And what she agreed to in her mind no longer applies. So guys think that, well, she agreed a few days ago, so she's flaking. In her mind, she's like, I was feeling that, but now I'm feeling this, right? So it's important to keep that in mind. And that's kind of like, that's why I always recommend, you want to keep a girl in that state, right? Like, so you want to get her into a better state, before you, for example, go close.
All right. So, see, I like, dude, I love the way you're saying a lot of this stuff. So, all right. So the way that I always handle it is like the way that I handle like the flaking stuff is like I always like I think to myself, how would like a guy with like 20 girls in his bed respond? I always say no worries. I just say no worries. It's chill, and like then I leave it alone for maybe a week. So what most other guys will do is that they will so the second the girl flakes, like, well, here, when are you free next? And they try to follow up, and then they try to chase the date when the girl's not in the most headspace, not understanding that the girl's currently in like probably a down mood or kind of a little off feeling. And they try to set up the date. The girl's of course not going to say yes then. So you just say no worries, it's chill, and you just don't talk to her for maybe like a few days, a week or so. The girl is like the guy. Then you hit her up later. But like the way you're doing it too is like hella fucking good. Like I love the way you're like saying this stuff. I'm writing down a hella bunch of your lines, to be honest.
Dude, you know what's a really good line that I found? So if a girl like it says like the girl's like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't make it tonight. You know what I really like? Breaking my heart, and then whatever her name is, breaking my heart, Amanda. And it's kind of like trollish enough. So the girl is like, really? I'm breaking his heart? Like it's kind of obvious that you're kidding. Like also it's not. And I find that I get with usually a girl will be like, I'm so sorry, I can make it up to you tomorrow night. Right? I'll commonly get responses like that. I'll be like, all right, you get one more chance, something like that. So that line has been super clutch for me.
Dude, that's really good. I like that. I'm gonna test these out too.
Yeah, definitely do. Should I initiate that I want a relationship on my Hinge profile to attract girls even when I don't want a relationship? But I don't recommend doing stuff like that. No. I have nothing against bending the truth and white lies, but like this is like active. Like, I just don't see the point in that. Like, first of all, there's some chicks who want to just fuck, and then you're gonna turn them away. Like I know that. I remember what was it? One chick. I remember one of my booty calls. I was talking to her. We were talking about dating apps, and I was like, "Hey, do you ever use Bumble?" And she's like, "No, that's for girls who want to get married or something." I was like, "No, like it's also a hookup app." She's like, "Really? I didn't know that." I was like, "Yeah, like so like if it's kind of like girls can take things out of proportion. I guess the point of that. So if you say relationship, there's gonna be some DTF girls who are gonna be like, "Oh, he wants to get married. Like I'm just looking for a fun time thing." Yeah, I just generally recommend just say, I don't say anything. I don't say I want to hook up, I want a relationship. I just leave that part blank, right? There's no need to spell it out. There's no need to be so explicit.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better. You pretty much nailed it.
Nailing it. All right. Any experience with Fenty Beauty? Have you ever tried Fenty Beauty?
I think I did. Is it like the white powdery stuff or whatever?
Yeah.
I tried it once. Made me sick.
Oh, it made you sick? Yeah. Interesting. I've tried it, Fenty Beauty, pretty extensively. So so here's the weird thing. I find that Fenty Beauty, the way it works, or at least used to work for me, is that it makes me it gives me like a very like a spidey sense when it comes to emotions. So when I did Fenty Beauty, I remember the first time I did Fenty Beauty, right? I went to the Apple store. This one I lived in California. I went to the Apple store. I'm just walking there, and then it just fucking kicks in. And literally, the first girl who I approached, she was like going to the Apple store. I got her to not go to the Apple store, pulled her back to my place, drove her daddy's fucking Bentley. And I wish I could say I fucked her, but my closing game was really poor back then. And I just got an awkward hand job. But the point is that like when the Fenty Beauty was kicking in, like my shit was on point. And it was just like, I remember I could just, everything she was feeling, like when I sensed the hesitation, I could feel her emotions. And I was able to just like, I don't know, it was just like gave me like superpowers. But then I tried doing sales on Fenty Beauty, and it was the worst experience ever, because in sales, you're getting a lot of negative emotions. You're getting a lot of like, fuck this guy, I don't talk to salespeople. And so it made me way too sensitive to those emotions, and it fucked me up. Like I could not do sales on Fenty Beauty. But I know, like, for example, Will from Revolutionary Lifestyle Design says that his sales, closing was like 3 times better on Fenty Beauty. So again, drugs hit everyone differently. I actually got some more Fenty Beauty about half a year ago, and for some reason it just kind of stopped working on me now. Like now it just like it has that effect a little bit, but not as much as it used to. I don't know why. Maybe it's I got some bad shit. Maybe like the stuff I have now isn't as good. I remember like back in the day it was like such a pronounced effect. Now it's just more mild. But maybe I'm doing like too small of a dose or something like that. I don't know. It's an interesting drug. I definitely recommend everyone try it. Like it might be a big game changer for you. It might do nothing. You never know. All right. Over the course of your experience with women, when there were fundamental differences in political habits, were you able to bridge the differences? How do you handle them? That's a good question. What's your take on this?
Okay. So over the course of the experience with women, when there were fundamental differences, okay. So here's the thing with this. You can all right, so you can push it. Like I'll be like straight up. So if I run against like a feminist or something like that, I push them pretty hard and I get away with it pretty good. Like I honestly shouldn't. But it comes underneath the subtext. So whatever you think you're allowed to get away with, you can get away with. So when you're trying to so I have a lot of guys who will bring up the whole fucking mask thing. Like if you wear a mask, like if you're approaching girls with masks, are they gonna get all like bent out of shape? Not really. Like I think they're gonna look to you to see how they should feel about you. So like if I approach a girl with a mask and I'm just like I don't even bring it up or even think about it or worry about it. I assume everything's okay. It'll be okay. So if you come up with your political belief, oftentimes they'll say, look, first and foremost, everybody's allowed to have their own opinions, blah blah. You have to preface it with these kind of girls because to be honest, there's certain kind of girls like Australians. I found classically. I remember I was pulling a girl home at one point. I was walking her back to my place with actually our friend, by the way, our friend, the one we were talking about. We're walking looking MFer. So we're walking these 2 girls back, and she all of a sudden goes like this. Wait, are you a voter? It's this Australian girl. And I'm like, see, honestly, I like to think that I'm so politically illiterate. I don't vote either way. And that's what I said. That was my move at the time. And this girl got so fucking pissed off. She started screaming at me about the fact that I vote.
Yeah, so I can't stand people like that. Who gives a shit? Let people I'm so that I agree with you on that. Let fucking dude, I have a friend who's a hardcore conservative. Me and him, that's okay. I don't give a shit. Me and him are able to have intellectual conversations. We don't shame each other. We don't fucking scream at each other. I can't stand people who just can't have a normal conversation. They think that because you believe something, that makes you less or better as a person. It's such a dumb fucking mindset.
Yeah, how narcissistic are you to think that you understand every aspect of this world? Are you God? Do you understand everything? Is your view of the world completely 100% right? Or is there maybe one up on? Why can't you be open to the fact that maybe you're wrong? That's the thing. When you think you're special,
no one needs to be right or wrong. You just have different opinions. which one's better. You believe this, and I believe that. Like, who gives a shit? We'll just believe something different. We can have like a normal conversation. Unfortunately, a lot of people can't. So my opinion depends how big the gap is. So I find that, for example, if okay, so I almost hate saying this, but I would probably put myself somewhere in the middle, right? Like, there's some things that I believe that are more on the conservative side, like fiscally, and some things I believe are more on the left side, like in terms of like social issues and shit like that, right? Like, I don't give a shit, let gay people get married, like whatever. I don't give a shit about any of that. Like, so I'm kind of like I would probably say libertarian maybe, but even I take stuff from like all parties. I would say probably the closest would be Joe Rogan. Like, I probably agree with a lot of shit that he does, right? So I find that sometimes when I meet someone who is like a little bit more to the left of me, a little bit more to the right of me, we can kind of bridge the gap and we can find common ground. But if it's someone that's so radically different, like, it's just, especially because people who are radical, they usually don't refuse to accept other people's opinions. I personally have nothing against a hardcore conservative or hardcore liberal. Like, I can totally be friends with them. I can fuck them. Like, to me, it doesn't matter because that's just what you believe. It's irrelevant to me, right? That's who you are. But like, a lot of people who are hardcore stuck in hardcore feminists, hardcore liberals, hardcore conservatives, they're so stuck in that fucking camp that they refuse to even have a diplomatic conversation with anyone who doesn't fall into that category. So with those people, it's really fucking hard. I'll tell you guys a story, actually. The chick, Carla, from my video, the one that I made the How to Physically Escalate video with, she was a hardcore fucking feminist liberal, believe it or not, right? Hardcore, right? And again, like, it's not even we disagree. Like, a lot of things I'm pretty liberal on. Like it's not like we radically disagree or something like that. But literally, one of the first things she told me was, "Did you vote for Trump?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Okay, good, because I would have to punch you in the face." I was like, "Good one." She's like, "No, really. If I found someone who's a Trump voter, I would punch them in the face." I'm like, that's kind of extreme. Like, just because they believe something differently than you would physically attack them. And she's like, "Yeah, they deserve it." I'm like, "No, they don't. They just believe something differently than you." But anyway, so, me and her hung out for a few months. And during that whole time, I would hardcore avoid politics, right? Whenever she would bring it up, I would just hardcore dismiss. I'd be like, boring, next. Like, and I would just like slap her ass or something, distract her from that. So I would never engage her. I would never go down the rabbit hole. One night, I was high on kratom and I was feeling rather chatty. And I let my guard down. I thought we were at a point where and we started she started getting, she said something that was so extreme, such a stupid feminist position. Like, it was something like, she's like, "You don't know how uncomfortable it is when you're at a grocery store and a man can't stop checking you out and he's staring at you, he's being all creepy." She's like, "Those men, they should be fucking forced to stay at home. Like, they shouldn't be allowed to leave the house." I was like, okay, well, I can understand that it might be annoying to be creeped on if you're an attractive girl, but most of those guys are not deliberately trying to make you uncomfortable. They're they just don't know any better. They're just awkward. She's like, "No, those guys are perfectly doing it," and kind of went down that rabbit hole. And we went through this for half an hour. And because I was so high, and I was just having a good time with it. I wasn't arguing with her. I was just chill. I thought we were having a normal conversation. What I didn't realize is because she was getting more and more heated by the minute. 30 minutes in, she just flips the fuck out, says, "You're part of the problem," and storms out of my place. I never saw her again after that. So, yeah, generally speaking, I like to avoid these rabbit holes.
Well, all right. So this is actually, so here's when you guys can create more of a mentality behind so if you guys are totally allowed to believe something hardcore, but this is the way. It's so there's this thing called the Denton-Kruger effect. Now here's the scale. Let's say this scale right here is confidence. This scale is actual mastery. Okay, this is how most people start off. All right, so most people are confident through ignorance. So you're confident because you don't understand how deep the rabbit hole goes when you start learning something. So most people are here because they're so stupid they don't realize how so they're confident because they're stupid. But as you start going into something let's say game, a lot of you guys probably didn't think this shit would be this complicated. Guess what? You start getting into it. Oh shit. I don't understand anything. Oh my god. Then you're like, oh wait, I'm starting to figure it out. I'm figuring it out. And what's funny is me and playing with fire here, we're not as confident.
Just call me Alex. We're at that point, bro. We're this close. We just go each other by first names. Alex.
All right, fair. It's that's where most people are. Now, if you've gone through the Dunning-Kruger effect and you've actually studied a field, I'm very confident about certain things, and so is Alex here. We're extremely confident about the shit. If a girl argued one with us, you'd just be like, "No, that's not how that works." We just know it's not how it works. Whereas this girl is is just ignorant through just not understanding. There's a function in the brain for personalities. It's a perceiving and versus a judging function. People lean towards either direction. A lot of you guys are watching this channel. You guys are probably perceivers. Perceivers are more in touch with reality than judgers. But judgers, what they do is they feel uncomfortable with ambiguity. They can't understand that maybe a homeless guy is both homeless because of what he did with his life and the way he lives his life and what he puts out there, but he also might be homeless because of his circumstance. It's an ambiguous.
Yes.
But a judge is one or the other. There's no other option. That person's gonna, and they'll be super confident about it.
I know exactly what you mean. People have a tendency to take very complex issues and just try to make a blanket statement on that. It's because of this. No, it's usually because of a lot of things. You know, like you can't take a complex issue like fucking sexual harassment. It's because men are pigs. No, there's a lot of reasons why there's sexual harassment and rape. And yes, there's some fucked up guys out there who do some fucked up things, but that's only part of the issue. This is a complex thing. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
All right, let's crack into the next one. Can you give us some?
I think I'm gonna refill the coffee.
All right, go for it. Can you give us some examples of big mistakes you made, or possibly a video on? You can learn just as much from mistakes, losses you do from good plays. Yes, that's actually a really good idea. I'm actually gonna write that down right now. So that's a good idea. Video on mistakes. You know what might be cool? If I can find the screenshots, I'll show you guys my text game like 5-6 years ago, like when I was first started. I really wish I had my text game when I was in my early 20s. That would be like the best. I don't think I have any of that because I've got so many new phones since then. But if I can find something when I first got into game and started updating to Google Drive, and if I can get those screenshots, I can show you guys the difference between what I used to do back then and what I do now. I think that would be like a fucking huge, big thing. But yeah, for sure. I'm also made mistakes, in other aspects of my life. Like I'm actually pretty soon going to write an article. I'm writing an article right now on how to be a successful entrepreneur, right? It's something, I'm not a fucking expert on this, just my experiences. And in that article, I go pretty heavily into my mistakes that I made, when I was getting started with a business. When I was younger, I had good game and was the life of the party. My second year of college, I dealt with death and disease and gradually became depressed and anxious. Now, 3 years later, I'm fit and reasonably attractive, but I become too serious, quiet, introverted. When I've gone to bars, clubs, sometimes I get asked if I'm okay. I can prove and give a warmer why. So it sounds like you went through, serious trauma, man. Honestly, I think that I'm not being condescending at all. This is I've personally gone, I did some therapy after I had I had some health issues because, it just kind of fucked with my mind. I think it's probably good for everyone to do some therapy at some point. So I recommend finding a good therapist, and basically you have to be able to get to a point where you can release your trauma. So, game in itself is very unlikely to completely solve your issue, right? You have to, there's numerous ways people can let go of trauma. There's different approaches. I would find like a good therapist and, find someone that can help you with this, either through hypnotherapy, talk therapy, just through like, emotional release technique, like shit like that. So that's going to be a big part of it, because once you can, your personality, your default isn't that of a super serious guy. Your default is the life of the party, right? And there's something that's inside of you that's causing you to not be that. So it's not a matter of learning something new. It's a matter of getting rid of that thing that's holding you back, that trauma, right? Because I'm assuming the trauma is no longer there. It was something that happened, right? So you need to be able to basically let go of the past and let go of it. And unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you because I'm not like a therapist. I'm not the worst person to ask when it comes to this. But I think that, if you find like a really good therapist, someone with good reviews, they should be able to help you with that.
All right, so what did I miss?
Just a few questions. We had a question on trauma. But I basically told him that this is something more that a therapist would be able to help him with. All right, let's jump into this question. Just want to say sorry for my message last week. My computer wasn't showing a lot of chat comments. I thought another moderator. Okay. We had a guy last week that was like kept asking the same question over and over again. I answered like 3 times. I was like, dude, why the fuck do you? He literally asked this question 100 times. So he's just clarifying that it was a problem with his computer. So that kind of makes sense, because I thought this person was either trolling me or was retarded. Phenibut is awesome. Careful with dosage. Yes. So you the first time don't go over 1 gram. So keep it 500, 750. Yeah, definitely be careful. And also with Phenibut does have a high addiction potential. So it's not something you can do every day. So you shouldn't do Phenibut more than 2-3 times a week. And every story I've heard from people who did get addicted to Phenibut and had to get off it is like pure nightmare. So it's not like kratom. You can take kratom pretty much every night and you'll be more or less fine, or like smoke weed every night You can't do that with anybody. All right, what's the best resource that taught you about text in the phone game? I mean, aside from playing with fire, no, I mean, like when I was getting into it, I would say I'll give credit where credit is due. So Swoop the World was a big inspiration. I mentioned them in my product, and I always shout them out. Will from Revolutionary Lifestyle Design. That was also a big thing. Are you familiar with Revolutionary Lifestyle?
Evolution Lifestyle?
Revolutionary Lifestyle Design.
See, I spent so much here. Well, actually, I was going to respond to this really fast. I was going to grab a water bottle. I don't know. I've never studied like too much in the way of text game. The only text game that I ever read was Todd's. Like that's the only thing I ever looked at. And there was some old forums. There was a guy named RC Ryan that's like way before, like predates like the rest of the crew. And he was like this emotional ass guy, but his understanding of text game was really inspirational for me. Like now that like the RC forums are down and whatnot, but I went through his
Revolutionary Lifestyle is text game is only small. He's actually mainly about just self-improvement and mastery. But I learned like a lot of concepts, like the idea of sexual market value. Like I definitely like that. Like he expanded my opinion on. But he has a lot of ebooks, like how to stay organized, how to how to expand your business. But one of them is how to get laid on Tinder. And again, I think that what I have now is much better. But his like in the early days, like that was the foundation, a lot of it. And Swoop the World, those guys. So those are the two resources I would recommend. What are your also Girls Chase? I actually like them a lot. So from what I've seen, what are your resources for just in general, like sources that you would say played a big role into helping you get to where you are?
Honestly, it was like a lot of the RSD products. Like I was such a big RSD fanboy back in the day.
Old RSD stuff definitely helped me. Like the older stuff, older Julian definitely played a role in my game for sure. I thought, I thought Julian's pimp product was actually very solid. I think that was the best product RSD ever put out.
Dude, it was lit. That was amazing. Like I watched it too. I thought that thing was amazing.
I thought that was by far the best product out of that company.
The blueprints, it's not even actually outdated. I was gonna say it's outdated in comparison to the product.
Yeah, the blueprint by Todd, that was also good. That's more internal game though. Obviously, it's not really good for external, but that I thought it could be shorter, it could be more succinct. But yes, it was like an odyssey of the mind. That's the best way to explain it.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's go to the next one. Is it the fact that the fakeness industry is full of fake baddies? Yes, 100%. 1,000%.
This is one of my friends. All right, sorry. Keep going.
It's all good. I met this girl on Instagram. I asked her to hang out. She said yes, but after quarantine, we've been texting for 1 month since then. Not every day, of course. I know she's the one hitting me up. Where's the question? So I'm assuming he's asking what to do next.
Oh, well, okay. So I don't want to. All right. So this is actually something that I was taught by that last company I worked for. It's not my thing. But with Instagram, they allow you to send voice messages.
Those are good.
That helps. Yeah. Like, especially if you have like verbal game and you go out and game. Like, if you can talk, hey, so I just want to say hi. Been a while. Like, you just start talking on the phone. Like, just like, use your game, use pauses, show some like humor. And like I treat it like game. I just use it like, I really don't have a lot of experience in picking girls off of Instagram. Like, I'm like your guys' boy Alex here. I do pretty good on the Tinder and Hinge and Bumble and whatnot. I also do pretty good in game. I don't need to go on Instagram, which actually I honestly should start trying to practice this. Try to pull girls off of Instagram. It probably would be like a really good place for me to learn some new stuff. But use voice message. Like, it's killer.
100% agree with that part. I think I'm starting to understand the nature of the question though. So basically the girl said she's down to hang out, but only after quarantine. So why? Get to the why. So there's so many girls that I was able to convince who were like initially were like, dude, the quarantine has been going on for 6 fucking months. There's going to be another, like this shit is going to be going on for a while, right? Like you don't want to wait until after quarantine. You want to get her on board with hanging out now. So figure out why. So I would say literally, are you worried that so guys are way too eager to agree to shit that they don't want to agree to. Like girls like, yeah, we can hang out in like 5 months. Oh yeah, sure. Like, they're just jumping on the idea, but that's like a bullshit agreement. Like, no, like 5 months, I could be married with kids by then. So you could say like, are you worried to have corona, right? You want to get to the bottom of her concern. Is she not want to hang out because she thinks that's a socially responsible thing to do, or is it purely because she's worried that you have corona, or is it because she lives with an old family member? So all those three things are going to have a different way that you're going to handle them, right? The first one, if she thinks it's a socially correct thing, you can break that down in like 2 texts. You want to figure out why. And I have a video on this, how to get laid during the coronavirus. So check that out. I'll break this down in more detail. But so that would be the approach. I wouldn't wait until after quarantine. I would try to get her on board right now.
Yeah, all right. So everything he said, the way I like in sales, you always want to get to the objection. You want to get to the root of the objection. Then once you know the objection, you handle it. Then anytime you have a sales proposition or you're trying to convince somebody of something and they don't want to do it, there's something going on in their head that's stopping them. And oftentimes they're not going to tell you, or they're not even aware of it. They just know they don't want to. Number 2, this is I'm going to give you guys the line that I used really successfully that gets me to have girls come meet up with me. It goes like this. So basically what I tell the girls, hey, would you want to go? So the girl brings up the COVID thing. I'll be like, well, how about this? How about we go meet up in an empty parking lot, bring some lawn chairs and some megaphones and just scream at each other, pleasantries, or scream compliments at each other. And usually get the girl laughing, and then she'll want to come out and hang out with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes I'll say, you're good. The only corona is in my fridge. You're good. I got tested a month ago. The only corona is in my fridge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's him handling the objection.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Vin DiCarlo is pretty good material besides Pandora's Box. Pandora's Box was overcomplicated, didn't really make sense. Other material is pretty good. I'm not familiar with his other stuff, so I can't really comment on that at all. But Pandora's Box was essentially a fucking just a internet marketing proposition, not really a dating valuable experience. All right, so somehow I just lost the questions. Oh, there we go. What is direct game to you? What's direct game to you, my good sir, Mr. Karisma King?
There's a lot of ways to do direct game correctly. So I game at different levels. So sometimes I'm out of it. I don't feel like it. So for example, when I go and approach it, let's say that I'm out of it and my words and my actions aren't aligned. I don't want the premise getting mixed up. I want the girl knowing why I'm talking to her, and I want there being man and woman vibe. So I start off the interaction with, hey, legit, I just thought you're cute. I'll say that. But as I start warming up, then I'll start all right, now here's the underlying frame of a direct approach that works. All right. The fact that you find her cute is not the end all be all. It doesn't mean that you're going to fuck her now, that you've decided that you like her. It's the fact that she's attractive is the open door to get to see if you like her personality and like her as a person. Now you're going to start screening. I'm going to approach you, and I want to see if we click as people. I'm going to approach you and see if I like you as a person. If I don't like you, we don't like each other, it's chill. I'll go talk to a different girl that's attractive. The fact that you're attractive, so that's where guys get this messed up, because you guys put so much weight on the looks thing. Girls don't do that though. Girls are doing exactly what I'm saying. He's cute, so guess what? Because he's cute, I'm going to see if I like him. And then what does the girl do? If you start talking terribly, the girl's going to leave. Do the same thing. Scream. And then let the girl know that you like her. So I'll sprinkle it in there. I'll be like this. So I'll approach a girl and I'll do a direct line. And I'll kind of hint that, I actually care about who she is and personality wise. But early mid interaction, maybe about 10 minutes into the interaction, 15 minutes, I'll say this, and I drop this every time. You know what? Actually, I came into this not expecting much. To be honest, I was kind of just bored. But I got to say, I'm actually really excited that I came here to talk to you. This is, this is fun. You see, now she won me over. That's what I'm doing here. I say it differently every time, but the frame is that she won me over. I didn't expect much from talking to her. I thought she was going to be boring bitch. But guess what? I actually like talking to you, having conversations. Now she won me over. She actually, now she earned me, if you can get the sense. That's how you do direct game correctly. If you're going in and I think you're attractive, so obviously I want you, don't. Stop.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. Yeah, pretty much. You don't want to do autistic direct game. Hey, you're hot, I want to fuck you. That's not direct game. That's just autistic game.
Yeah.
All right, we just went for over 2 hours. I think it's a good time to call it. Also, my date is on her way, and I don't want to keep her waiting too long. All right, so Denton, how can guys follow you? How can guys learn more about your content?
All right, yeah, for sure. All right, so my YouTube channel is Karisma King with a K. You also find me on
in the description. Yeah.
Yeah. Instagram.
Yeah.
What did you say?
No, I'm saying we're gonna link everything in the description. In case you have to trying to write this down, I'm just saying we're gonna link everything. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, you can do that. You can check the description. But if you guys are here in the call right now, Instagram is Denton.Fisher. YouTube is Karisma King with a K. You guys can also check me out on TikTok, King Mentality, Facebook, Denton Fisher. Like I post content on all these different platforms. You can check me out at any of those spots.
Is there one that you're more active on, or it's just pretty much all of them?
I'm like, I spread it out pretty well. Like the YouTube, I'm starting to put up more infield on. Like Karisma King, I'm starting to put infield on. And I also do have a second YouTube channel too called King Mentality. That one's more just like more like mindsets and whatnot. It's like it diverges away from the game. It's more just my general mindsets about life. But yeah, like the TikTok I post to like daily. Like at least I try to. I post probably about 3 to 4 times a week, I'd say. It's just like new content.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, man. So make sure you check out his content. He has some good stuff. And also make sure you check out the video he's releasing tomorrow because it involves me. So you definitely don't want to miss that. It's going to be coming out on YouTube. And just a quick thing. So we're going to keep doing these every Sunday. Next Sunday is going to be, we're going to do just me because I know every time we do one of these, we're going to have guests on. We're going to get through like 5 or 10% of the questions. So next Sunday, I'm going to commit to going through every single one of your guys' questions, right? Within reason. Like I won't do more than 4 hours. I'll stay on for 3.5 hours to get everyone's questions answered because I feel bad that some guys are coming in maybe like at 9:30 and then their question gets buried. So we're going to do that next Sunday. And then the following Sunday, we're going to start having some very interesting guests on as well. So thank you so much for coming on, dude. I think this is a good interview. I'm also looking forward to the one we did tomorrow, the one that's coming out tomorrow. I think it's going to be a really solid one for guys to check out as well.
Yeah, I'll be posting around this time, so if you guys want to check it out, we talked about it. I'm probably going to upload it at midday Pacific Standard Time, so you guys can expect it then. Well, I'll be posting it then, so you guys can check it out. We did a great job. We talked about a wide range of topics.
Oh, yeah, we went for a while.
Yeah,
that's a good one. All right, awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you, bro, for coming on. Have a good night.
All right, guys, later.